win it on a Jackson Merrill double. 7-6 W for the Pods. They'll be back looking to sweep the Mariners today at 5:40. Same time, same place at Petco Park. Walker Buehler will be on the mound for the Pods. Luis Castillo will be going for the Mariners. And per Dennis Lynn, the team is expected to be sold as early as possibly next week. Choose one of Wendy's new Biggie deals at $4, $6, and $8. Pick one of the new Biggie deals you're craving. For a pretty Biggie deal, got to be Wendy's. U.S. price of participation may vary.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
I'm excited about it. It brings a lot of people together.
Now, live from the East Set studios of San Diego Sports 760, we go In the Zone with Fletch and Sammy.
Yes, let's get it going on a Thursday. What's happening, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Sammy will take over then for an hour, go along with Sammy, followed by our brand new afternoon drive show, Schaefer and Sliwa, as we got 6 hours of live local content for you today. We will spend a lot of our time on the show today celebrating what's been a pretty awesome 7-game win streak for the San Diego Padres. Another walk-off last night, drama in the 9th inning last night, a very impressive win for the Padres where the Stars stepped up and the Stars picked up Randy Vasquez, who had his first rough outing of the year as a starting pitcher, but impressive to see the Padres get it done in the 9th, as well as Jackson Merrill's defense, his heroics at the plate, Luis Campusano continuing his hot streak and having the clutch nuts for days. All right, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long, if it's your first time joining us, pleasure to have you here. Please do stick around for the next couple of hours. Open up that free iHeartRadio app, snap that little plus sign on it. Helps us out with the bosses, makes us look good here, and it puts us right on the front page of your iHeartRadio app every time you open it up. We got some giveaways today. Lakeside Rodeo tickets. I've been telling you about it all week. It's coming up next Thursday through Sunday. If you want to win a pair of tickets to the Lakeside Rodeo, keep on listening, and a pair of tickets for SD Fight Night. This is our final pair of tickets to give away. So if you would like to go see Juju Ballo, Johnny Mansour on the same card, 2 fighters out of San Diego, both of them undefeated professional records. If you would like to go on Saturday night to Front Wave Arena up in Oceanside, you just got to keep on listening for your chance to win. Before we do anything crazy, Sammy, did you get your puffer vest last night at the Padres game?
Dude, yeah, I was actually in the middle of the scrum.
What do they call them? Puff vests?
Yeah, puff vests. Puffer vests. Our very own Rich McGuire was tweeting at us about he was there and just trying to get into the ballpark to enjoy a crazy game. Obviously, with Jackson Merrill with the walk-off. I mean, what a win in the 9th inning there. But yeah, the puffer. Look what the Vetter Cup does. It's
bunch
just
of 45-year-old soccer dads throwing some bows, trying to make sure they're getting their puff vest.
By the way,
seriously, if anyone got a puff vest, please text us. Was it worth it? 70470. Start your message with team.
I was watching the fight on Twitter or X.
I don't know if you can call it a fight.
That's what I was getting to.
This was an NBA fight.
This was a people who have never hit a punching bag before. It was a little bit of a slap fest, just kind of grabbing.
I do like the lady who got in the middle of it, and you could like hear her above the rest of the crowd noise, and she's like, "Get the F back." That was pretty great. Look, seriously, be cool to people. That's all I gotta say. It's a puff vest. Are we really losing our minds over that? But I'm also kind of cool with it. It was a great video. 858
is asking, is it true Eddie Vedder buying the Padres?
I don't know if that's true. There is news on that, though. We're going to get to it coming up around 12:30. But Dennis Lynn has an article out in The Athletic today that says it could be as early as next week. So start having this in your brain. We're going to talk about last night's game, but coming up at 12:30, what is your wish list for the new owner to come in here and for them to get off on the right foot? What is your wish list for the San Diego Padres right now? You can comment on YouTube, San Diego Sports 760, or hit us on the text line 70470. Start your message with the word team. All right, last night, let's talk about it. So Randy Vasquez, for maybe the first time all year, looked a little lost, looked like the guy that we've seen in the past. Didn't have his best stuff, gutted through some time. I thought the bullpen did a really nice job stepping up to back him. But the Padres offense was gone. It was non-existent. There was no hitter through 4.5, maybe 5 innings last night for the Mariners. And then Xander Bogaerts, who's had this incredibly hot start to the season, hits a nice little home run for the Pods, gets them on the board, but it's still a 4-run game, and you're going into the bottom of the 9th inning. hope, maybe lost, but hey, you had a 6-game win streak, right? So I think Padre fans would understand. I would certainly understand. I wouldn't come on and kill the team today if they lost a game 6-2 to the Mariners, but they don't give in and they don't give up. And against a really good closer or a really good bullpen for the Mariners, they step up and get the job done, man. They string together some hits. They put together a few really good at-bats. Fernando Tatis Jr. doesn't try to do too much, hits a sacrifice fly. And then the heroics, of course, of Luis Campusano, followed by Jackson Merrill, was tremendous last night. Like, all you can ask for out of the Padres in a situation like that is to see something in the 9th inning. And they gave you more than that, man. And Don Orsillo had an excellent call once again. Do we have that, Sammy, to play and live in the moment that was last night with 45,000 fans losing their damn minds over puffer vests? Sammy, let's hear Don.
Line to left, it is a fair ball! Down the left field line to the corner! Around from second base, Campusano. Laureano's coming around. Padres are walking off. Merrill madness. Padres were down at one time 6 runs. Not anymore.
You think Don's gonna be able to call the game today?
I don't know. Don Orsillo's had himself a week, man. I don't know if you've seen all these people on TikTok who are like putting together the compilation of Don Orsillo going from bogey goes boom with the grand slam and saying slam Diego in there to holy sheets to this last night. Don Orsillo's had himself a 7 days. It's been a 7-game win streak for him as well.
Well, I think it was impressive, right, to the fact that they kept fighting. I mean, that was a game that it looked like it was not a scheduled loss, but you're coming off all these big time performances, 6-game win streak.
I think it's okay to call that a scheduled loss last night. That's probably what it was.
I mean, they weren't going with the big money lineup. Even though Randy Vasquez had pitched very well.
Right. Tatis wasn't starting last night.
So, I mean, they're basically telling you, hey, we're okay if we lose this game. But to keep fighting, be down 6-2, and then just kind of bat them around the base pass. I mean, how impressive was Campusano? Ramon Laureano's been the MVP of this team so far. And then, of course, Jackson Merrill getting it done at the end. But yeah, it was really cool to see from the team. And credit to some of the bullpen guys like Alec Jacob and some of these guys who aren't necessarily.
Yeah, Alec Jacob, that was his first appearance of the season.
Right. Like not high leverage arms. Again, kind of felt like they were okay if they lost that game. Holding it down, keeping it within quasi striking distance, and the bats finally came alive. So really impressive victory. Was cool seeing it at Petco last night. And I mean, it's nice because there's a lot of hesitation when they're sweeping the Rockies to get too excited about the team. But this Mariner team is a damn good baseball team with a lot of talent, despite the fact that their record isn't quite what you would thought it would be to the first 18 games of the season. But very impressive, and we'll see if they can go for the sweep tonight.
Congrats to the Padres. 7-game win streak. I don't care when it happens in the season. Those are mighty, mighty useful. We talk about the 14-3 start from last year and how front loaded that was. Like, think about it, 14-3 start. And that is what ended up letting them into the postseason. Because after that, they were a below 500 team by about a game. So from here on out, you have this 7-game win streak. This could be a little bit of a buoy, especially if they keep it going. All right, we're going to get to the big 3 here. Lakeside Rodeo tickets coming up soon. SD Fight Night tickets coming up in hour 2. Coach Kentera is going to join us today as well. Sammy, go ahead, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers. It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
913 texting the show saying the SD Fight Night is going to be a blast. Thank you for the tickets, boys. Yeah, if you were at the Padres game last night, I think you saw all the SD Fight Night you needed. It was just over puffer vests instead of a belt.
Yeah, maybe the people who were fighting over the puffer vest could go to the fight and learn how to actually throw a punch.
I felt bad for Rich. Like our buddy Rich McGuire, who was DMing us and putting us or tagging us in Instagram posts. He was saying, I just want to go to my seats. I don't care about the giveaway or the vest. Just I want to get into the game. I love how people are like freaking out over a cheaply made vest. I'll be honest. Chris Connolly, who's like the GM or not the GM, the chief marketing officer, the CMO of the Padres, he brought in one of those puffer vests a couple months ago as we were like kind of doing the highlight of what's going to be given away this year. It's a nice vest. It's a really nice vest.
Why don't you have one then?
He took it away. I think Kat stole it actually, so that's why. All right, Sammy, where are we going?
All right, we're heading to the NBA. Great game last night.
Oh my God.
Steph Curry and the Warriors come back down 13 in the fourth quarter, get the win, upset the Clippers at home. They'll be taking on Phoenix tomorrow night for a shot to go play Oklahoma City. But the big story is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard scores 2 points in the fourth quarter, and that basically came in a garbage time bucket at the end. Gets the ball taken away from him twice at the end of the game by Draymond Green. How much criticism should fall on Kawhi Leonard last night, and does last night hurt his legacy?
I don't know if it hurts his legacy. The championships kind of stand up by themselves for Kawhi Leonard. He was the best player on the court in that Spurs championship. And then with the Raptors, nobody had that team doing what that team did. So I think Kawhi's legacy is fine. Unfortunately, his legacy gets hurt by the fact that he doesn't really play in the regular season. And then Kawhi shows up in the postseason. And to have a stinker like this is rough, man. Now, I will say, it was like we saw Steph and Draymond both turn back the clock a little bit last night. Like, Steph went full God mode. Some of those threes he was hitting, especially late, the one with like 50 seconds on the clock when he's falling out of bounds and into the crowd, is amazing. But something that doesn't really get talked about with that Warriors dynasty is the defense that Draymond Green plays in big moments. And last night, Draymond was essentially playing on one leg for the last 5 minutes of the game. And him poking out those two balls was insane, outrageous. It was amazing to see those two guys kind of get back to the Steph and Curry that were part of the dynasty.
It was cool. I know we're going to get to their side of things in a few minutes, but it was cool seeing, you could tell the Warriors were a little like, the dynasty's done. Hold my beer. Like that's what last night felt like.
Steph and Draymond are like, oh yeah, Curry, you want to lose this game? Watch out.
Right. I mean, it felt like that. And shout out to them. Steph, I mean, what's a more electric player? We're talking about it before the show to watch than Steph Curry. When he's on, there is literally nothing you can do. But on the Kawhi Leonard side of things, right, we're always going to think of Kawhi as a great player. He has 2 championships. But I think when we look at Kawhi's legacy overall, we got into this a little bit yesterday, even with 2 championships, I think we look at it as a disappointment. Because
he's the face of load management.
The face of load management. He has missed so many games. He was supposed to be the face of the Clippers franchise. And last night, I mean, he goes to the podium after and starts crediting Draymond Green effusively. And it's like, that's great. Draymond Green deserves praise, but you're supposed to be Kawhi Leonard. Like, you can't have 2 points in the fourth quarter of a play-in elimination game, March Madness style, and you're up 13 at home, and you're supposed to be the leader on this team because Ben Mathurin and Darius Garland are young, and both of them had better games than you, and you let Curry and Green and Podziemski and all these guys outshine you. Bad look for Kawhi last night. And if I'm the Clippers, I think you go with the youth movement and try to ship Kawhi out of town and kind of restart this whole thing.
They may. What's next?
From scratch. All right, let's go quick little Masters thing, actually. Max Homa called out. So Sergio Garcia, people didn't see it, lost his mind on the tee box last week, broke a club, and he kind of got after it. Max Homa said, quote, "I don't like when people break clubs. I don't like when people beat up the golf course because we deal with it. And I think the breaking clubs makes us look very, very spoiled." Didn't mention Garcia by name, but that's who he was talking about. Do you agree with Max Homa's sentiment?
I understand his sentiment. I kind of hate this part of golf where it becomes incredibly stuffy and it becomes incredibly better, holier than thou. I think we're past that. Like, I get it. Sergio probably shouldn't be breaking clubs. He probably shouldn't be slamming his clubs on the ground and messing up the turf at Augusta, which is like perfect. And people make a lot of money to keep that turf perfect. But this is also what golf has tried to move away from, and I think successfully in some aspects has moved away from the get off my lawn, the exclusivity of it. Like, they're trying to open it up a little bit more. And look, did everyone at home have fun watching Sergio lose his mind a little bit? Because that's how relatable is that. That is you on the golf course. So I think Max Homa can kind of go kick rocks on this one. It may have been taken a little out of context, too, if you see the full thing. But Homa, come on. Who cares? Worry about yourself.
I'm with you. Look at the TPC Scottsdale. I've personally went to that event, and
chaos.
If you've been out there, you've watched it on TV, it is a party. And the whole point of it is on the 16th, 17th hole. It's 16. I mean, it's people are yelling. It's a fun environment. The crowd plays into it. Everything you said about golf being stuffy. I mean, hell, when I go play golf and I'm not a pro golfer, I lose my mind on the course. I think it shows emotion from golfers. I think it's fun. And you're right. Did he let it get away from him a little bit? Of course, but I don't think he should be penalized for that. I think Max Homa's speaking a little bit out of turn.
No, even McIntyre getting fined for flipping off the green. Like,
it's like, what? Like, he's frustrated, but all right, quickly.
All right, can I hijack number 3? Because this is something very cool that's happening and we don't have very much time.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Bill Walton, San Diego legend, La Mesa native, is getting a street in La Mesa right next to Helix High. where he played basketball in high school, named after him. Very, very cool. La Mesa, congratulations. That's my neck of the woods. The city government, La Mesa, unanimously approved that the other day. So congratulations to La Mesa. Congratulations to Bill Walton. Rest in peace. That is very, very cool and a good way to honor the San Diego legend and the Hall of Famer, Bill Walton. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Those Lakeside Rodeo tickets are coming up very, very soon, as well as the SD Fight Night tickets. So don't go anywhere. Coach Kentera coming up at 1:30. But Steph Curry, man, the dude was cooking last night. Let's talk about it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Starting next Monday, San Diego Sports 760. We got 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway. Listen every hour from 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. starting on Monday. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. It all gets going Monday at 9 a.m. $1,000 sounds pretty nice right about now. That could help you get your gas tank full like 5 times, 6 times, 7 times.
How much money?
1,000.
Oh yeah, maybe
Gas is crazy,
maybe once
to fill up my truck. It's like $140 these days. So
yeah, gas station. Woo!
They're making money. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. Let's talk about it. So Steph Curry last night. 30 minutes was supposed to be the minute restriction. I think he ended up playing 35 minutes last night.
Yeah, and they were saying they were going to hold him to that on the broadcast. And
sure.
It was like, that's such BS.
He went full God mode. If you watch that second half, it was kind of vintage Steph Curry. Like, it looked at times to me like it was back to the Team USA France game where Steph Curry just completely took over late in that one, was making threes left and right, was refusing to let Team USA lose. That's kind of how it felt last night. Draymond was doing his thing on the defensive end. Steph Curry was the offense. And it was kind of vintage Steph because it was never just he would walk down and pull it from 5 feet behind the half court line. No, it was he would give the ball up early, run through 9 million screens and somehow pop up somewhat open somewhere and then make a wild three-pointer as he was falling away. It does lead me to the question, have we ever seen someone who, when they're on fire, is more fun to watch than Steph Curry when he's on fire and he's completely locked in? Because that was vintage GOAT type performance from Steph Curry.
He is Curry when he has that on fire, like killer instinct, like at the end of the game, like
NBA Jam 2002, he's on fire.
Right. When they tied it, it was like, this game's over. Like, you just watching it, you're like, this is 100% over. Kawhi looked lost. Curry was unreal. And I think even though Draymond's gotten older, Curry's gotten older, you know, the team has aged and people have wondered if the dynasty's done. They could very well lose tomorrow night. And even if they win, they're probably getting smacked by Oklahoma City because of a lack of depth. But what last night showed is that just because, like, the Clippers have more talent on the team than the Warriors do. But when you know how to close and execute in the playoffs, and I think this is kind of an interesting mark for Wemby and some of these teams.
Yeah, or like the Charlotte Hornets are going to be the perfect example.
Right. It's one thing to have talent, and that takes you very far in the regular season and can win you a lot of games. When you watch the Warriors last night, they knew exactly where they were going to be. Draymond Green setting screens, running that kind of pick and roll type offense and pick and pop type offense. Podziemski was a part of the picture. Curry was unbelievable. Al Horford, the extremely old veteran,
also on a minutes restriction,
right? Who won a title with the Celtics, has played in some big games over the years, deep in the playoffs. They knew where to go, and the Clippers looked lost. The Clippers looked. Which is why I give a lot of criticism to Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard has won 2 championships. Kawhi Leonard should be able to close in these situations. The Clippers didn't really look like they knew where they were going with the ball. And I think when I'm curious for this weekend when we start, and it's like the Spurs are a prime example, and you mentioned the Charlotte Hornets. The Spurs are a team that has all the talent in the world. Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Wemby. But how do they close at the end of these games against a team like Oklahoma City, who knows how to close, against a team like Denver, who's been there before and know what to do when it's under a minute left? Like, how are they going to figure that out? And I think that's why we've seen teams historically don't have a lot of experience in the postseason. It's hard for them to crack through in their first time through.
Like, the Warriors had 11 more points than the Clippers in the fourth quarter. It was a game that was won in the fourth quarter for Golden State. And it's just wildly impressive that still Steph Curry, all the injuries he's had all year, all of how last year ended with him in the postseason, is still able to go out and in a 1-game scenario get you that 1 win. And that is squarely on the shoulders of Steph Curry. Draymond's defense, yes, but Steph Curry was the one.
Or Steph and Podziemski are the only guys scoring.
It was pretty incredible, man. So Steph had 35, Podziemski had 20. It was just pretty impressive what they were able to do last night. All right, Warriors are one thing, but the question is, has anybody ever, like in the history of basketball, when they're on, are they more fun to watch than Steph Curry? My brain immediately goes to like a Tracy McGrady, who when he was on fire, you could not stop him. Obviously, Kobe and MJ are the same way. And Kobe, when he would go into that killer instinct mode, the Mamba mentality,
right, you could see it on his face.
The underbite would come out, and we made almost a show of it. And then defenses would like get scared of Kobe Bryant coming down the court. MJ, if you watch ESPN Classics, if you were around for MJ's reign of terror that he put the entire NBA through, it was like nothing else ever. He would literally shoo away everyone on his team so he could go at somebody 1-on-1 or 2-on-1. Well, but I don't know that anyone's ever done it as like beautifully as Steph does it.
Right. That's where, I mean, you could, like, the 2 most influential players in NBA history is MJ and Curry. because MJ, and you could throw, obviously Magic and Bird in there too, brought the NBA to prominence. But MJ and Curry, because MJ made basketball cool. Everyone wanted Jordans. Everyone wanted to dunk. But the way Curry, like Kobe, and trust me, I love Kobe, but he's my favorite athlete of all time.
Kobe was just a killer.
Right.
Man.
Kobe was just a killer. Kobe just emulated Mike. Steph changed the game. Steph changed the way basketball is taught, changed how basically you don't have a traditional center anymore. You have hybrid centers because you have to be able to switch out on guards and be able to at least contest. So, I mean, when Curry's on, it's unreal. Like it's crazy at this age with the lack of help on this roster with Butler hurt, Moses Moody hurt. I mean, Horford and Porzingis on minutes restrictions, that he's still able to do this and take down a pretty talented Clipper team.
All right, we got some very funny texts coming in
Yeah.
YouTube chats. We got this from the 619. I missed the start of yesterday's Padres game because of the giveaway line. No amount of puff vest fisticuffs could make me feel better. That's from our buddy Quack.
He said, if I missed, I would lose my mind if I was late to a game because of that.
Rich on YouTube said, thanks, boys. I made it in time to see Farrell Merrill's catch. Padres made it a good night after being stuck in a line.
Yeah, everyone's forgot about the catch too because of the walk-off last night, but that was unreal. That was crazy.
Our guy Jay Silv saying he's on fire debuted in the original 1993 NBA Jam. I apologize. I had the 02 version on my Game Boy. I remember playing that all the time. All right, San Diego Sports 760. We got those Lakeside Rodeo tickets coming up right after Long Shots. So you got to stick around for just a little bit and we'll get you those Lakeside Rodeo tickets. But coming up next, back to the Padres we go. Are they being sold like today? You can find out on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for the Lakeside Rodeo. It's coming up next week, April 23rd through the 26th. And if you're looking for something fun, affordable, and that you can do with the whole family, man, I don't know what's better than the Lakeside Rodeo. Get on out there because next week, the Lakeside Rodeo grounds are transforming for 4 straight days of legit rodeo action. The premier rodeo in Southern California. You got bull riding, steer wrestling, all the normal stuff. Excellent concessions, by the way. Yours truly works the concession stands every year. But rodeo queens will be there. There's activities for the kiddos, which is so much fun every single year. So you got to get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo. It's the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo tradition, one of the best East County traditions that we have here in San Diego. And it's one of those rare events that's actually affordable. And you can get the whole family out there on the cheap. So get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo because it supports the El Capitan Stadium Association, which gives back to local youth right out in Lakeside. Get your tickets now at lakesiderodeo.com. That is lakesiderodeo.com. I will see you there. I'm going to make Sammy come to the rodeo this year so he can go to his first ever rodeo. It's a ton of fun. You got to get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo. Get tickets now at lakesiderodeo.com, or we're going to be giving away a pair in 15 minutes.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. The Padres get a big walk-off win last night with Jackson Merrill in the ninth inning, win 7-6. They'll be back at 5:40 today to close out the series against the Mariners. Luis Castillo will go for Seattle, while Walker Buehler will be going for the Pods. And out of the NBA, Luka and Cade Cunningham win an appeal. They will be eligible for regular season awards. Luka only played 64 games. Cade Cunningham only played 63. The threshold is 65. Anthony Edwards, who played 60 games, was denied earlier today after going to arbitration. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly, professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for another hour and a half here on San Diego Sports 760. Sammy will keep the party going after that. Schaefer and Sliwa will be your drive home today. We'll get to the Padres and some sale news coming in just a minute. But I thought of a few more basketball players who I put on the list of like my favorite ones to watch when they're going into heat mode. Jeremy Lin for about 2 weeks. Linsanity.
For literally 2 weeks.
Come on. That was pretty fun. Like the whole country got behind it. Linsanity was a good time. We all had a good time. And then
Jeremy Lin. Did we not put Jeremy Lin in the same conversation as Kobe, Curry,
for
and
2
MJ?
weeks? For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, that was actually kind of crazy. How about Allen Iverson?
I was just about Allen Iverson.
The Messi of basketball?
Allen Iverson does not get enough respect as one of the great guards of all time. Allen Iverson, unbelievable. And by the way, if Allen Iverson played in today's game where it's less physical,
sure,
he'd average like 50 points.
Yeah, Allen Iverson was unreal. I would say Vince Carter. Some of the most spectacular dunks in game we've ever seen.
I wouldn't put him in this category yet, but I think Ant, you could make a case, could fall into of the current crop of players into that kind of category.
I wouldn't hesitate to throw Luka on this list.
Luka, I would definitely
some
put
of the shots
list.
Luka makes are just unreal. Like I don't know that we've ever seen someone who so effortlessly makes offense like really, really hard shots look so easy as Luka.
Another guy. Only offensively, because he's a disaster defensively.
Jimmer Fredette.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, dude, Melo was sick. I'm all for Melo. Like, and I'm fine because you know what? When Melo wanted to, he could go into a different mode. And he would always do it for Team USA. Never had the postseason success. No free agents ever wanted to go play with Melo. But when Melo wanted to step up, he was the best player on the planet. What could have been with Carmelo Anthony is unreal. Unlimited potential.
Carmelo, in terms of just raw talent, from if you had a 1v1 tournament and said, go get me a bucket, it would not be too many names down the list before you got to Carmelo Anthony.
Seriously.
But
the dude was unreal. It was like he was built in a lab, but never really took care of his body that well.
No.
Didn't really care, it seemed like, about being the best in the world. Didn't really care about getting his team any sort of postseason accolades. But Carmelo, when he wanted to go 1v1, get a bucket, there may be nobody better.
Carmelo, if he would have been the number 2 in New York and they could have got a 1, they would have won a championship. Carmelo was just not a number 1 type player, which isn't even a knock. There's a lot of guys who aren't number 1s, but it's kind of a shame for Carmelo in terms of hardware.
But what's also cool about Carmelo Anthony is once he got on Team USA, all of a sudden he like clicked in.
But again, didn't have to be a number 1 on that team.
Right.
Got to just be a scorer.
You're right. All right. Padres, if you missed the news, Dennis Lin released an article around 11 o'clock this morning that says, and I will quote, the San Diego Padres sale process is approaching its conclusion with an agreement between the Seidler family and a preferred bidder expected as soon as early next week. This development would cap a months-long auction that has drawn 4 finalist groups and a potential sale price of around $3.5 billion, a figure that would shatter the Major League Baseball record for a franchise sale ahead of a pivotal labor fight. So Padres, the valuation was about 3.1 last I checked on Forbes. The sale expected to be around $3.5 billion. Can you make it 3.6 if they win another 2 games in a row? Like seriously, like this is a pretty good time to sell the team because look at Petco Park over the last week and a half. Look at all the winning that the Padres are doing. Maybe just tack on another 0 or at least another digit somewhere, right? Yeah, I feel like you could add a little more because of the recent success.
Yeah. Well, also, we're assuming 3.5 bill. And because of the amount of interest in the team,
right, you got 4 people who are still in it. They've all talked with the Padres within the last week.
I mean, The most recent professional sale was the Lakers, and that's the Lakers, and no one thought they would go for $10 billion, and they did because you had so many bidders. They went over the top of each other. The fact that 4 groups are into this thing down from 5, this must be selling. I bet this number comes in at a shocking price. I bet this thing. I would not be surprised if
3.7, 3.8.
I wouldn't even be surprised if it's 4. I would not be surprised if one owner is like, I want to buy the Padres. We're going to put a 4 in front of it. We're going to end this right now. It's cool that we're going to finally get some resolution on this because it's been, what? When did we find this out? 7 months ago?
Months. The first speculation about it, in fact, I remember the day that John Seidler wrote the letter. You remember the letter that came out, Sammy? You and I were doing a live broadcast at Viejas Arena for the blood bank.
Yes, I remember that day.
Because I was like, wait, what is this? John Seidler wrote a letter to Padre fans? And then we were literally watching people give blood. So I don't remember the exact date of that. I could go back and look, but that was the date it happened. And then since then, we've learned Dan Friedkin's name, Jose Feliciano's name, the Tom Gores, is that his name? The
Tom
Pistons?
Gores from the Pistons.
And then Joe Lacob has kind of always been attached.
And to that end, I think Padres on a 7-game win streak, playing good baseball right now. Not that a 7-game win streak is going to jack up the price, but
it's 7 straight games of 45,000 people losing their collective minds.
Well, that's the different part because most of the time, outside of the Lakers and then the Seahawks are potentially for sale right now. They just won a Super Bowl. They packed the house. Most of the time when you're buying a franchise, regardless of sport, it is a franchise that does not have a rabid fan base. Check. The Padres have that. That don't have a gorgeous ballpark. The Padres have that. In a big time city where you have only one of the big 4 professional sports teams. STFC has done a phenomenal job of capturing the city, but of the major 4 sports, you have one of them. So whoever's buying this team knows that you're getting a unique situation and you're not getting a team that's starting from scratch. If you're buying the Miami Marlins, if you're buying the A's, you know, this is a full rebuild and you have to invest so much money in this. All these owners, that's why you see Gores from the Pistons, Lacob from the Warriors, like Feliciano, I believe was from Chelsea. I could be wrong on that. But you're seeing guys who have been in the sports world before and are interested in it because they probably see a Padre team that, even though you're in the division with the Dodgers, you're a perennial playoff team, a team that's on a heater that has young stars in Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis. And if you just add a little money to this thing, you really wonder what the ceiling could be for this Padres team. So it's a unique situation. It's a long-winded way of saying I think this sale could be a lot larger than people actually think and is being reported.
So what's the wish list for the new owners? I got a couple things rattling around my brain that I would say need to be priorities for a new ownership group. Also, Craig Stammen yesterday saying the Nick Pivetta thing is going to be weeks, if not months. So like that's a problem.
That sucks.
So wish list item number 1, clearly for every Padres fan, should be to add a starting pitcher. And whether it's Giolito, whether it's something else we don't know about, whether it's a trade, whether it's whatever, how can you get a starting pitcher in through the door? And even if you have to overpay a little bit for Lucas Giolito, I think that would be an ownership group. Excellent first start for the Padres. Number 2 on my list, I don't really care what it takes. I've seen enough to know that Ramon Laureano needs to be a Padre for a long time. I would extend that dude immediately because Ramon Laureano, when we talk about Pouty Nando or Moody Manny or all the different things we have, I've never seen Ramon Laureano once give up on a game. That dude fights his ass off. He hustles his ass off for every single play. And by the way, he might be the best fundamental hitter that you have in your lineup right now. Ramon Laureano seems like a staple to me, and I would lock that down for the rest of his career.
I'm with you. And completely agreed on the Ramon Laureano thing. I mean, he was a catalyst for the comeback last night. Everyone talks about the Merrill hit, but Laureano was a big piece of that. And it was cool seeing it come from the, Campusano. I know Tatis had the sack fly, but Ramon Laureano and then Jackson Merrill. Ramon Laureano has been one of your most consistent players so far this season. And then I think we're talking
since he came over and trade. Like, I know he got hurt at the end of last year, but
that was a big loss for them.
It was huge. Who knows how that Cubs series goes if Laureano's available? Like, since he's come over and traded to the Padres, he has been your most consistent best hitter.
Giolito is the only option right now for the Padres that you could sign, you could write a check for, and you feel like would make a massive imprint on the rotation. Not that Giolito's some superstar pitcher, but he's a very solid guy who has massive upside, who you feel comfortable throwing out there every 5th day. Because right now, with Pivetta hurt, with Musgrove hurt, outside of Michael King, I'm going to still give Randy Vasquez the benefit of the doubt, even after not having a great performance last night. Outside of those two guys, you don't know what you're getting. Like, no one really knows what we're getting from Walker Buehler tonight, or Herman Marquez later this week, or Matt Waldron. And then in the long term, whoever ends up buying this team, you can make that change right now and go get Lucas Giolito. But this team for the foreseeable future needs an ace. Like, they need to go pay for someone that is a guy like the Dodgers have, like the Diamondbacks have, right? Where there is a guy, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Zach Gallen, Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens. And I get it's easier said than done. Those players don't just grow on trees. But if you have a owner that is willing to spend money, the Padres need to staple the rotation, because Yu Darvish, they got him when he was older. Dylan Cease wasn't the same. Like, I
think they might have thought Dylan Cease might be that guy.
Right.
And he just didn't end up being that guy for the Padres. He's actually playing pretty good right now for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I know.
He had like 10 strikeouts the other night. I think you're right, Sammy. And we'll see what this new ownership group comes in and does. Hell, the worst case scenario is they come in and slash, right? And that could easily happen too. The hope is that the new ownership comes in and reinvests. Like, the initial investment's there, but you feel like they still need more to get up to where all these 45,000 people losing their mind at Petco Park every single night want them to get to. All right, Lakeside Rodeo tickets are coming up on the other side. I don't know about all of you, but I won on long shots last night. I might have to put my hand up and apologize. I only followed one of the picks.
You followed the winner.
I followed the one winner. Was the other two not too good?
I take full ownership. I don't usually, as with the motto on this show, when you win in gambling, it's because you're smarter and you know more than everyone else.
Sure.
When you lose, it's because of external circumstances you couldn't control. I'm going to take ownership for last night. I put faith in the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, I told you not to.
And doing that, betting on Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers in a clutch situation.
By the way, that's back-to-back nights. B teams of LA teams have screwed you. Because you took the Ducks, the Anaheim Ducks, and then you took the Clippers. Those are the two B teams in hockey and basketball.
Yeah. We're Anaheim Ducks and the LA Clippers. Absolutely not.
All right, well, we'll see how he does today. I won last night. That was a pretty nice pick on the under there.
Hey, don't
Sammy.
brag. All of us lost a parlay last night.
Sorry.
You're gonna break us off some of that?
No. All right, San Diego Sports 760 long shots and Lakeside Rodeo tickets coming up next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. I really wasn't expecting to get this far in the weeds on like former NBA players who were ridiculously fun to watch, but I kind of like this. And text us 70470, start your message with team. We were talking about how much fun Steph Curry is to watch and was to watch last night, as well as throughout his career. But the 615 texted in and said, I'm just tuning in. Don't know what the topic was, but it appears you're talking about top underrated offensive players with mad skills. A little before your time, kind of more 90s, but Jason Williams of the Sacramento Kings, a.k.a.
That's a bad man.
White Chocolate, was masterful, crazy assists, and street-style b-ball. Jason Williams, not before my time. I think he was like in the league at 98. And then he was on that 2006 Heat championship team with D Wade. J. Will was filthy. I'll give you another Sacramento King, though, that somehow has escaped our conversation. Mike Bibby? Come on now. Mike Bibby was sick. That dude was mean. I loved Mike Bibby. How about Monte Ellis? I think he falls in this.
Monte Ellis is a bad man back in the day.
Monte Ellis looked like he was on cocaine the entire time he was playing, but that dude was
Who knows
filthy.
if he was?
He may have been. But Monte Ellis was fast as hell, man. This is a fun little topic here. So favorite NBA player just to watch when they get hot.
If it's just watch, and we said it earlier, Iverson has to be top 5.
AI was filthy. Dude, Tracy McGrady in his prime, dude was unreal.
You know what? Another guy who doesn't get enough credit because he never won a championship, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash was filthy.
Steve Nash was fun to watch.
I met Steve Nash one time, actually.
Really?
Yeah. He was actually, it was oddly enough, it was at San Diego State. And this was when I was a kid. It was like we were just visiting and we came to, I don't even know if it was Viejas Arena yet at that point, but I was a kid and Steve Nash just happened to be there when he was in the middle of his playing days. But yeah, Steve Nash was obviously, he won the MVP with the Suns, right? And then he goes and spends some time with the Lakers at the end of his career. I mean, shoot, I'd throw Ron Artest on this list.
Oh, meta, dude. Malice at the Palace.
Hey, Ron Artest was kind of sick. But let us know, who's your favorite random NBA player that you just love to watch? Most fun to watch NBA player all time? Let us know. 70470, start your message with team. All right, Sammy's having some problems because there's not a whole lot of sports in action.
This is
Thursdays during Major League Baseball season are tough.
Slim picking today
because most of the games start early.
Yeah, there's only 3 MLB games that have not started yet.
Are those the 3 we're picking?
Maybe. Just stay tuned.
All right. Well, are you ready for long shots?
I'm ready.
Let's go ahead and smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to you taking one of the play-in games that's tomorrow.
Oh, we didn't talk about this before.
Yeah, I know.
I could 100% do a play-in.
But you're also going to pick those tomorrow. But tomorrow's the whole weekend.
But tomorrow's the whole weekend, so we have NBA playoffs on Saturday.
So if you want to include one of the play-in games, tomorrow's Charlotte and Orlando, and then Golden State and Phoenix?
I should just pick them both. I was going to the Barcelona Open in men's tennis.
Well, I'd rather you do that. Come on, you're good at the random ones. Let's go. This is like, I'm this type of golfer. I'm terrible, like off the tee or with a perfect lie, but you put me in the crap. You put me way off to the side in the middle of the pine straw, and I usually can hit a pretty good shot. This is you. You're in the weeds, Sammy. You are wide right off the tee.
So
you're sitting in the pine straw at Augusta, and you just need to make a shot.
So we're actually carrying the ratings in the San Diego market for the Barcelona Open. Barcelona Open. Lorenzo Musetti, Arthur Fields.
Let's go.
Arthur Fields, 9th ranked player in the world. Lorenzo Musetti quietly putting together a really good campaign. I think he's going to break through and win one of these majors really soon. Okay, Italian player, excellent, has pushed Alcaraz in the past, but men's tennis is odd because it's Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Jannik Sinner just overtook Carlos Alcaraz after beating him last week at the Monte Carlo Open over in Europe. So Jannik Sinner and him kind of battling back and forth. The question, though, in men's tennis is who is going to be that kind of next guy? Because Novak Djokovic, how many tournaments does he have left? Trying to get that 25th major to complete it. I think you got your guys like your Taylor Fritz, your local guys. But Lorenzo Musetti is a guy I think could be that. But so Arthur Fields has quietly been a very good player. Now, I see you laughing over there. They're currently...
I don't think anyone's bet on this yet. Like, the numbers are blank on mine. Are we going to be the first people to actually put money on this match in the world?
Listen,
this is why we come to Sammy Long.
If we were in Spain right now, this would be the #1 topic of conversation.
This is it. It's just us. Where are we going?
Can you read the odds on Kalshi for us?
I don't have them. There's no odds right now because you're trading against other people and there's no other people to trade against.
All right, well, we need some people to bid against.
Like, I might have to take Fields and you might have to take Massetti to make this work.
Dude, wait till Kalshi sees an unexpected amount of money coming in from San Diego on the Barcelona Open.
Which tennis player are we picking?
I like Fields.
Okay.
Arthur Fields, he's a very talented player from France. Okay. He's a kind of a clay court demon. Now we're heading into the clay court portion of the tennis schedule. Roland Garros coming up here in a couple of weeks. We were very successful at Roland Garros last year. Remember the amazing comeback by Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, the 5-setter, almost lasted 5.5 hours. Anyway, Arthur Fields and Lorenzo Musetti are 1-1. Musetti's coming off a little bit of an injury recently, has been inactive since the Australian Open. I like Arthur Fields to pull the upset if you can find the odds on Kalshi.
Dude, I literally think I'm the only person who has put money on this today.
Put some futures on Arthur Fields.
Sounds good. What's next?
All right, let's go. Oh, Lord. All right, let's go to the Major League Baseball. Mariners, Padres. We got to bet on the. I try to stay away from betting on the Padres, but we got to. Tonight, over 8.5 runs.
Ooh.
I think the ball's flying out of the yard tonight. 2 reasons why. Walker Buehler, I don't know if we can trust. I know he had a nice last outing last Friday, but if we look overall, he gave up, I believe, 3 runs against the Giants, had a rough outing in his second start. But Buehler, we don't know what we're getting there. Bullpen went to work a little bit last night for the Padres. Did use some lower leverage arms, but an electric performance. If you're the Mariners, you're coming off a 4-game stretch against the Astros. You feel like you can. Well, they did. They completely let that game slip away last night and blow it in the 6th inning. You taxed your bullpen a little bit with Munoz and the Julio Rodriguez robbery by Jackson Merrill. They're going to come out pissed off tonight. I think this is a high-scoring game. Give me over 8.5 runs. All right. Am I including the NBA play-in tomorrow?
No, give me another baseball pick. You got 2 more games. Baltimore, Cleveland, Colorado, Houston. Just pick one straight up.
All right. No. We got this right here. Orioles, Guardians. 3:10 start. Okay, so right when I get off air, we'll be able to lock in together. Baltimore brings in a record of 9-9. Cleveland 10-9. Parker Messick has quietly been a fantastic pitcher so far for the Cleveland Guardians. 2-0 record, 0.51 ERA. Shane Baz has struggled a little bit, has lost 1, 4.5 ERA. Guardians coming off 2 consecutive losses to the Diamondbacks, to the Cardinals. The Orioles coming off 2 consecutive losses to the Diamondbacks. Both teams looking to get back in the win column. I do like the under here in this game. Okay. Parker Messick has been fantastic. Really fun pitcher to watch out there in the AL. And then Shane Baz, I think, gets a little get back tonight after having a rough couple of starts to the season. The Orioles bats, everyone keeps waiting on the last couple of years. Gunnar Henderson and kind of all the young talent they have to break through. They're 9-9 right now. I don't know if this is going to be the year. So tonight they're going under 8.5 runs. Under 8.5 runs in Baltimore and Cleveland. I like the over 8.5 in Padres and Mariners. And I like, if you can get it, Arthur Fields, the number 9th ranked player in the world, at least in this tournament, from France, upset Lorenzo Musetti on the clay court. I think his shot placement is second to none. Get us that Arthur Fields bets.
I've legitimately never been more confident in a long shots than this one, because this was so back up against the wall. This was so we got nothing going on. I literally threw out right before we came back from commercial, there's got to be tennis on, and Sammy finds a tennis pick to throw some cash on. This is going to win. I stake my reputation on it.
I swear, if Fields wins, pulls a little clay court upset out there at the Barcelona Open,
we're losing our minds.
If he wins, we're getting him on the show.
We got some Lakeside Rodeo tickets we're going to be giving away right now. You know what, Fields? You are my personal guest to the Lakeside Rodeo. Yes. If you would like to attend. But if you want to attend, we got a pair of tickets for you right now. You can buy tickets at lakesiderodeo.com. 4 straight days of awesome rodeo action. The premier rodeo of Southern California gets going next week, April 23rd through the 26th. Buy tickets at lakesiderodeo.com. Call right now, 877-767-4760. Sammy, what caller number are we going with?
Let's do caller number 7.
Caller number 7. You're going out to the Lakeside Rodeo for 4 straight days of action. Actually, I think these tickets are good for 1 day. It's San Diego Sports 760, hour number 2, and Coach Kentera coming up next. A very happy birthday goes out to Valley View Casino and Hotel. They're celebrating today through Sunday. Come on out and enjoy the 25th birthday of Valley View Casino and Hotel. You know, usually when you go to a birthday party, you're supposed to bring the gift. Not at Valley View Casino and Hotel. They are giving you gifts, especially if you go visit today or tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You can get a free, beautifully embroidered birthday gift bag full of thoughtfully chosen commemorative gifts. The celebration is going to continue all weekend, so come back on Saturday and Sunday for more birthday festivities. You don't want to miss out on this milestone 25th birthday celebration at the Valley View Casino and Hotel and earn rewards while you're there. Make sure you're using your Players Club card if you're not a member yet. Signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus, when you join the Players Club, you're going to receive over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. Get on out to Valley View Casino and Hotel. Celebrate the 25th birthday of the casino. And the more you use that Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events and more. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday to help celebrate the 25th birthday and join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants.
Sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres back tonight looking for the sweep of the Seattle Mariners. Walker Buehler will be on the mound in that one. And tomorrow we got the plan. We got the Charlotte Hornets looking to go to the NBA playoffs, taking on the Orlando Magic in Orlando. Charlotte is a 3.5 point road favorite in that one. And the Warriors and the Suns. Phoenix is a 3.5 point home favorite after the Warriors got the W last night over Kawhi and the Clips. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
I'm excited about it. It brings a lot of people together.
Now, live from the East Set Studios of San Diego Sports 760, we go in the zone with Fletch and Sammy.
Hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. If it's your first time joining us, my name is Ben Fletcher. That lovely man back there is Sammy Long. Coach Kentera is going to be joining us coming up at 1:30 to talk some Padres hardball. The question that's been kind of floating around the universe today has changed a couple of times. It used to be who's the most exciting player to watch when they're hot in NBA history. But now it's just kind of like, who's your favorite player to watch just cook a little bit? And I got a few more off the top of my head. Now, I wasn't alive for his career, but I've seen all his ESPN classics. Don't know how we haven't said it yet. Dr. J. Julius Erving.
Dr. J.
Come on. I mean, literally the creator of the reverse layup. He would do acrobatic stuff in the air. Basketball isn't basketball without Dr. J. Swag isn't swag without Dr. J.
How about the story of when he was facing off against the Lakers in the finals when he took Magic out the night before and kind of lulled him into thinking he was his like great friend, and then he just tore him up on the court. I mean, all-time player, Dr. J. He's kind of a guy
that was him.
Yeah. The scoop dunk. No, unreal. 619 says Nick the Quick Van Exel.
Dude, Lakers, Nick the Quick.
Yes, sir.
That dude had one of those fiery releases. Bop, bop, bop. But Dr. J also, I think he was the first dude to do the dunk from the free throw line in the dunk contest.
I know. I wish the dunk contest
was still cool.
Right, because it's every dunk's been done. Like Blake Griffin jumped over the car.
Well, it's like Dr. J dunked from the free throw line. That was earth-shattering, mind-bending, mind-blowing. Now there's probably more guys who can do that than can't do that in the NBA.
Well, and it's just everyone's been done. Like the last cool dunk contest when Blake Griffin jumped over the car.
Right.
When he did, because everyone was like, what's happening?
And it was like, has Kia ever made more money or gotten more out of one single moment than that? Because it got shown a million times. So genius. It's like Nutella flying across the Artemis and the space mission. How about Derrick Rose pre-injuries?
Derrick Rose.
Dude, Derrick Rose was filthy.
Derrick Rose. It's a shame that those Bulls teams, like his injuries, like Joaquin or Noah and Carlos Boozer, like there's so much talent on those teams. It's a shame that one of those teams didn't break through.
Derrick Rose is the ultimate what could have been, man. He was so much fun to watch when he was first getting started. What he had the Rookie of the Year season. He had a couple of comeback attempts later on, and it just never really was the same. But he was so damn good.
His MVP season was one of the all-time like MVP
I agree.
Seasons.
No doubter.
It took one season of him. I mean, unreal.
How about D Wade? We didn't even mention him.
D Wade. Yeah,
Growing up, D Wade was my favorite player when I was younger. It was like Kobe and D Wade were my guys.
D Wade doesn't get enough respect because he played with LeBron and Bosh and like Shaq. So many guys that were stars he was always the two on the team.
Yeah, but he was the
guy.
He was the glue. He was the magic. He was everything for those teams.
And then of course Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq.
You
have to put Shaq on the list. It's just we've never seen anything like him since. Like Shaq was just a bulldozer of a human being. He was breaking backboards. He was fun the entire time. Every interview with Shaq, you never knew what could happen. And by the way, all-time broadcaster.
All time.
He's so good at it.
I love I was watching the other day. Remember when they pranked him, Chuck and them, when they gave a top 10 centers list and they didn't have his name on it, and he started getting so mad. Like all-time clip.
All right, so we do have news on the Padres. The Padres are supposedly going to be sold as early as next week. The reason why the number has gotten as high as it is at $3.5 billion right now, because none of the four who we've kind of known about the whole time have dropped out of this race. They are all still invested in trying to own the San Diego Padres, which as a fan base, you guys are doing your job right, man. You are showing up, making Petco Park look as beautiful as possible every single night. 45,000 plus, screaming their faces off from the first inning to the last inning, even though last night there was a little bit less at the beginning because everyone was stuck in the puff line vest. But you look at what Petco Park has done, and it's shown early in this season. And the Padres players have held up to their end of the bargain after the first 6 games of the year. They're on a 7-game win streak right now, making these games incredibly fun to watch all the way down to the wire. So if you're Joe Lacob, Jose Feliciano, Dan Friedkin, or Tom Gores, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be the best investment I've ever made. And so I do wonder if Sammy's right. And that 3.5 number that we just keep seeing doesn't get upped a little bit, because all 4 of these guys, if you're about to make that investment and say you were at the Padres game last night and you're looking out seeing 45,000, not only be there for the whole game, but stick through a 6-2 deficit, stay for the bottom of the 9th inning, and then lose their collective minds when they win that game. You're thinking this is exactly what you've always wanted to own.
Well, and this is we won't know.
No one tell them about the curse of San Diego.
We won't know until years from now. But this is where John Seiler has, went to the press, talked about how we value the city. We want to leave it in good hands. And I do have to give John Seiler credit, because he didn't ask to run this team. And, obviously he was extremely sad when Peter Seiler passed and he got it dumped in his lap. So honestly, even though we've been hard on John Seiler, credit to John Seiler for realizing, like, hey, this isn't for me. I want to move it to someone who really does believe in the city, or at least believes in the team enough to put a winner on the field. But this is where we're really going to test if this is PR. Hey, we want to leave it in good hands for San Diego, or are you going to just take the highest bid? Are you just going to take the most money, or are you going to be taking into account what each of these individual prospects, who has the biggest vision for the team, who has the biggest vision for the team in spending money on the team versus a billionaire wanting to own a baseball team because they have FU money.
Look, these are problems the majority of us, in fact, all of us, I'm just assuming those listening as well as me and Sammy, these are problems we could never possibly wrap our head around because these are billionaire problems and there's just not very many of them. I hope we have a billionaire listening to us. I really do. Look, we're available, billionaires. But I think what John Seidler, and I hope he understands this, it's not just his legacy he's dealing with right now.
Right.
Like this is Peter's legacy he's dealing with right now. And he inherited that as much as he inherited the responsibility to run the San Diego Padres. So John Seidler, this is the sign right now. And I hope you know this, and I'm sure you do, of don't F this up, right? Because this is not, we will forget John Seidler's name. I can promise you that. Peter Seidler will be remembered forever in this town as the greatest owner that San Diego's ever seen. So you're handing that off to somebody else. Don't F this up.
And we're going to know, are you just, is this just great PR? Hey, we want to sell it to someone who values San Diego. Or are you really about why it's taking so long is we're deciding between these 4 bids. They're all close. Who has the best vision for the Padres going forward? Who wants to spend to compete with the Dodgers in the NL West and the Diamondbacks and the Giants? Like that's, they can say that they're taking that into account,
sure,
but we'll see here soon if they actually took that into account.
And by the way, if they accept a bid next week, it's still going to go through weeks of talks with all the different Major League Baseball owners. They have to get at least 70% approval. Like there's a lot of steps past that, but we could see a new name announced next week. All right, let's get to the big 3 here of hour number 2. Kentera in 20 minutes. We got another pair of Lakeside Rodeo tickets, and we still have SD Fight Night tickets. But Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Oof, we got serious there for a second. Let's shake it out a little bit, huh? Sammy, where are we going with the big 3?
Let's go to the NBA. So if people saw, Cade Cunningham played 63 games. Luka Doncic played 64 games. Now, the NBA, as we all know, implemented the rule 65 games to qualify for postseason or for regular season awards, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, all that kind of stuff. So they made an exception for Luka and Cade because they missed 1 and 2 games. Anthony Edwards, who has only played in 60 games, went to arbitration, tried to get it approved as well. They denied Anthony Edwards. A, what is your reaction to them accepting Luka and Cade? And number 2, do you think it's BS that Anthony Edwards was not included?
Why have the rule if you're not gonna follow the rule? That is really what I take away from this. Look, I would probably agree that Luka should be in the conversation about the MVP. I agree that Cade Cunningham should be in the conversation with the MVP, but this rule was put in place for a reason. It wasn't put in place just for S's and G's, you know what I mean? This was put in place because load management is a thing. And I understand, like, Cade Cunningham had a collapsed lung. That sucks. No one could see that coming. But you didn't play in what? So if he only played in 64, right? He played in 64?
Luka played in 64. Cade played in 63.
Still, that means you're missing nearly 20 games of an NBA season. It's not that long of a season. If you're missing 20 or almost 20, I don't think you should qualify for these awards. It's not just a load management thing, but it's also a sample size thing. And while, yeah, they both played like MVPs this season, I don't think they should be considered because if you're going to make this rule and you make it for a good reason, why bend the rules for some and not others?
It's tricky because the rule is made to prevent load management. That's what it was made to prevent.
Sure, but if you're telling me that they couldn't have pushed themselves back a little quicker from some of these injuries, like part of these injuries weren't load management, I don't know if I buy that.
Well, I mean, Luka and Cade had a collapsed lung, and Luka almost ripped his hamstring. So they got the short end of the stick. Now, I hear what you're saying. If you're going to implement the rule, so now the NBA is setting itself up for a problem in the future because now they let someone with 64 games in and they let someone with 63 games qualify. So what happens when 62? And then once you approve someone who's 62, then Anthony Edwards is going to go, wait, I played 60. You're not approving me. So it's a bad look for the NBA that they're not keeping the rule. I didn't have a problem with it. It does suck for Cade and Luka again because they were not load managing. They had legit serious injuries that kept them out of play of the end of the season. This was not they were just deciding to load manage them on any given night, which is why the rule was put in place in the first place. But it is kind of surprising that you let Cade and Luka do it, but not Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards is an Iron Man, a guy who goes out there every night. So I feel I'm happy for Luka and Cade that they're going to get recognized because their seasons they deserve to be in the conversation. But I think it creates problems going forward for the NBA. All right, Eric Spoelstra. So LaMelo Ball not suspended for tomorrow night's game against the Orlando Magic, but he was fined. He was fined $35,000 for the foul on Bam Adebayo. Was also fined $25,000 for using profanity in the post-game interview. Spoelstra said, head coach of the Miami Heat, there is no need to penalize Hornets ball any further. Do you think this was a light punishment by the NBA or just right?
I think it's fine. The profanity thing is always outrageous to me. Like, are we actually fining people for saying a naughty word? Come on, what are we, in fourth grade? That's ridiculous to me. I actually have changed my tune on this a little bit because initially I thought he should have been kicked out of that game when he literally picked up the leg of Bam Adebayo and he slammed to the ground. I don't think that suspension should affect the next game, but I do think he should have been suspended from that game. But I think it's dumb to retroactively suspend a guy for something in one game for the next game. I think that's just kind of silly. And plus, NBA fans everywhere, if you're not a fan of one of these two teams, you want to see LaMelo Ball in this game.
Yeah, he's the best player in the game outside of Banchero.
It'd be different if it was a 7-game series, but this is the right move from the NBA. I'm actually going to give them props.
I think it was right. Suspending him didn't feel right in that. Eric Spoelstra, I applaud him for kind of letting it go.
He probably should have been kicked out of that game.
Well, that's a different story. I think that I would have been more okay with. Suspending him for the next game because of it. I mean, how are you going to prove he intentionally did it? It can look like to all of us he intentionally did it, but if they made the call, if they made the call to let him stay in the game there, then you're going to suspend him a day later in a playing game, in a playing tournament. That's been really exciting. I think the NBA did get this right with only the fines.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, you got your next chance to win a pair of Lakeside Rodeo tickets. Then right after Coach Kentera, your next chance and final chance to win a pair of tickets to SD Fight Night coming up this weekend. All that still to come here on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Coach Kentera is going to be joining us in 10 minutes to talk some Padres. We'll talk about this run they've been on, 7 straight wins, how much fun this has been, seeing guys clutch up for the Pods last night. Luis Campusano, who I'm very proud of this show. Never once did we turn our backs on Luis Campusano.
Yeah, now everyone's claiming him.
Yeah, now it's Luis Campusano is the best player ever. I mean, to be fair, when everyone was saying that he was like the worst player ever, we were just saying he's irrelevant. But we didn't say anything bad about him.
No, Luis Campusano, we're actual Luis Campusano cheerleaders.
Yeah, we always have been, always will be, forever and ever.
Day ones.
Love you, Campy. But it's been pretty fun during every commercial break today. Sammy and I are just going back and forth with a bunch of NBA guys, like ones that we've missed, ones we haven't talked about yet on the show. I don't know how. Somehow we left out Manu Ginobili.
Those Spurs teams were so fun.
The dominance they had, because Tim Duncan might be the most boring basketball player to ever
He's just
play
a great player.
He's just amazing. He had an unblockable fadeaway bank shot that he never missed. I don't think he missed once in his entire career. He was an excellent defensive big, but he was playing with these two guys, Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. And that big three was really one of the first big threes in my mind that I can remember. And the way they played off of each other was just so good. It was poetry in motion. Tony Parker was one of the best passers I've ever seen play. Manu Ginobili, one of the most creative shot makers inside the paint that we've ever seen. Manu and Tony Parker both belong on this list to me.
100%. Another name that I kept thinking of was Reggie Miller.
I'm about Reggie Miller.
Reggie gets lost because people talk, obviously Mike and Scotty,
sure,
and Charles Barkley and Olajuwon, like all the guys in the 90s. But Reggie was like Steph before Steph. He's not Steph, but like he was that kind of guy, that lethal scorer that he's played in Michael's era. So he didn't end up winning as much as he probably should have. But Reggie Miller was all-time fun player to watch.
Give me Chris Paul. Lob City Chris Paul.
Did you see him last night?
No, I did. You keep saying that. What did Chris Paul do last night?
You know the meme where it's like when I attend my wedding versus I attend my enemy's funeral?
Yes, I think so.
And the guy's like standing there in a suit.
Yeah.
Okay, he posted that last night after the Clippers lost as a shot back to the Clippers because they, fired him or cut him earlier this year on the road.
That's
in
right,
Atlanta.
yeah.
Dude, it's just, this is what happens when poor organizations, like why, if you're the Clippers, like going back to that for a second, why would you do that? Chris Paul,
best player in Clippers history.
It'd be him, Blake Griffin, Kawhi?
Well, DeAndre Jordan was part of that Lob City team.
But CP3 would be you think Clipper, that would be Chris Paul. And to cut him like that on the road, so good for Chris Paul for getting some get back last night. I'm sure he's like, screw y'all.
That is funny. There were, times again growing up where Chris Paul, like I know who did I call the Messi of basketball? I called AI the Messi of basketball. Like Chris Paul's that too, where he just did things dribbling the basketball that you've never seen before. By the way, neither of us have mentioned LeBron, and I'm fine leaving LeBron off that list.
No, we got to include LeBron.
LeBron's great. I don't know if he's ever like mind-blowing exciting. You know what I mean? LeBron's just bigger and stronger than everybody. Could get to the basket whenever he wants.
But that's why LeBron would qualify, because LeBron, we haven't seen someone with his build that's that skilled of a ball handler and can basically, he kind of start.
I would put Kyrie on this before I would put LeBron on this.
I think you just don't like LeBron.
I like LeBron fine. He was on one of my favorite YouTube channels recently, and I thought he was actually very likable. So LeBron is back in my good graces.
I mean, if you're going to say Kyrie, you can't put him over LeBron when.
Yeah, but Kyrie does things that we've never seen before. Like, it's very easy to look at LeBron and be like, oh, yeah, you should be the best player on the planet. Like, Kyrie had a little dog in him.
Kyrie's one of the smoothest ball handlers we've ever seen.
You don't like him because he's a flat earther, huh, Sammy? You're very traditional in that sense.
I'm not saying I don't like Kyrie Irving.
If you want to load up the text line, we will get back to this at 1:45. Read all the texts that come in. We're just talking about like our favorite NBA players to watch over the course of our lifetimes. There is a lineup out for the San Diego Padres who play tonight at 5:40.
Is Tatis at second?
Tatis is back in right field. Sorry, Sammy. I know it's a lot of fun to watch Tatis back in the infield. He's got a little bit of pep in his step again. He's looking happier maybe at second base, but how about him getting a pinch hit sac fly last night?
Yeah,
that was a big moment. Didn't try to do too much. Put one out there far enough to score a run. It was a very mature play from Tatis, I thought. All right, Laureano's leading off. Love that. Keep him there till he stops hitting is good. Fernando Tatis is batting second, playing in right. Jackson, Farrell, Merrill, the hero of last night.
we've not given enough credit to that catch he made in center field.
Well, that's what gets buried because of the walk-off.
Right. The catch he made in center field, the fact that this dude was a shortstop his entire career, gets moved to center field and is going to win a Gold Glove at some point very, very soon, if not
the
this
walk-off
year.
doesn't even matter if he doesn't make that catch.
Right.
2-run home run.
The catch was spectacular, and that was off wasn't it? It was Rodriguez who hit it.
Julio Rodriguez, yeah.
All right, but Merrill is batting third. I love it. Machado batting fourth, playing third. Bogart's playing short, batting fifth. Gavin Sheets, as in Holy Sheets, is playing first. Andahar DHing. Campusano catching. Cronenworth playing second. And Bueller on the mound. So you got the A team behind Bueller tonight.
Stammen, well, you're going to need the A team. And that's not a shot to Walker Bueller, but you don't know what you're getting tonight.
Correct.
If Walker Bueller gets out of this game giving up 3 runs, that's a success. That's at home.
How many innings? Like 5 and 3, I'm fine with. 5 innings.
5 innings. 6 would be ideal, but 5 to 6 innings, 3 runs. The Padres at home, coming off the last couple nights and the last week, really should be able to overcome that. I got to give Craig Stammen
no day off tomorrow. By the way, they get right back into. They're going just up to LA playing the Angels.
Craig Stammen deserves a lot of credit for has he made some questionable bullpen moves early on this year? Yes, but for moving up the lineup, like Laureano at 1, shifting these guys around, I would much rather have that than what Mike Schilt used to do, where it was just, nope, I decided my lineup card. These are the guys that are playing. I don't really care. And then we get frustrated when the media would ask questions about why they weren't hitting. I got to give Stammen a lot of credit for this young in his managerial career to be taking this many risks, knowing that the chance of things going wrong, you could get crushed for it. I think it's been cool seeing him everyone's a little bit interchangeable. And that's great to see from a young manager.
858, Steven Jackson and Rasheed Wallace. Great polls.
Yes.
How about, dude, Captain Jack? That guy was ferocious. Tough attitudes, both played both ways and could talk trash and heat up.
How about Dennis Rodman before he went crazy?
Dennis Rodman, even after he went crazy. Love Dennis Rodman, man. Ben Wallace, Big Ben Wallace on the Pistons.
You know who I
elite shot blocker?
I loved Zach Randolph.
Who doesn't? I don't have we even mentioned Dirk yet?
Well, Dirk was just a great player. I don't like
but those teams he played with. What, a Hardaway on one of them, Jason Terry, the Jet, flying down the court. Come on, that championship team was filthy too. Oh man, this is fun going back in the day in the NBA. If you have any more, we'll read them all at 1:45 today. Been fun talking about some old NBA players. We'll ask Coach who his favorite one to watch was, but right now, your opportunity to win a pair of tickets to head on out to the Lakeside Rodeo, baby. Yeehaw. It's coming up next week, Thursday through Sunday, the 23rd through the 26th. If you would like a pair of tickets, now is the time to call 877-767-4760. You can buy tickets at lakesiderodeo.com. Bull riding, steer wrestling, bunch of kid activation events going on the entire time. Rodeo queens will be out there. Rodeo clowns will be out there. And I'm not just talking about whoever wins these tickets. San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. What caller number?
Caller number 8.
Caller number 8. You're winning the tickets. Thank you, Sammy. We'll be back with Coach Kentera next.
The sport is sponsored by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Padres looking for the sweep of the Seattle Mariners today. You got Walker Buehler on the mound. That game will be a little bit of earlier start at 5:40. And LaMelo Ball will be available for tomorrow's playing game against the Orlando Magic. The NBA fined him $35,000 for the trip on Bam Adebayo, as well as $25,000 for cursing post-game, but no suspension. Eric Spoelstra, head coach of the Miami Heat, who had criticized LaMelo Ball for his actions, was okay with that and said no further punishment was needed.
Did he say a naughty word? He said a bad word? Oh, my gosh.
Be the 3C's MVP this month at Valley View Casino and Hotel. On April 24th, one lucky winner will score cash, and more cash, or a spin for $100,000 during the 3C's giveaway only at San Diego's favorite casino.
Shout out to Ryan, who just won those Lakeside Rodeo tickets. Appreciate you listening, Ryan. Thank you for being here. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We do this thing every day from noon to 2. Sammy goes on after that with Going Long with Sammy, and then our brand new afternoon drive show, Schaefer and Sliwa, finishes off our day here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, baseball is very, very cool because like professional baseball has been played since the 1800s. Professional baseball has been around a long time. And you still have long-standing records that get broken on a somewhat regular basis. Mike Trout today becomes the first player in baseball history to be an opposing player playing at Yankee Stadium to homer in 4 consecutive days. That's kind of wild.
It just makes you think about what, like, I won't take anything away from Mike
what
Trout.
Could have been of Mike Trout. We could have this conversation for hours.
Right. It's like if Mike Trout played for a more relevant franchise, sorry to all our Angels fans out there who this blows up in Orange County. If they played for a more relevant franchise, it'd be fun to see Mike Trout in the postseason being able to compete.
I'll tell you what, Angels games are actually really cool to go to because you can pay like $19 and have pretty damn good seats.
Yeah. Get on the Amtrak right there, hop off.
Yeah, they got a great ballpark too. All right, we got Coach Kentera on the line. Coach Kentera joins us every single Thursday. Coach, these Padres are playing some good ball.
Well, they are, but hey, I got to give a little more love to the Angels. Okay, $20 to park, and if you want to really park real close, it's only $30. You don't have to walk a mile.
I'm telling you, it's like $150, $180 day if you want to take the missus to a game at Petco Park. If we're giving some credit somewhere, give some credit to the Los Angeles Angels making baseball cheap again. Padres will be there next, like tomorrow. It's pretty sweet. But Coach, I guess your reaction to the last 7 games, because man, this Padres team over the last week, they've been clutch. Timely hitting has been up. If you look at like Major League Baseball teams right now, the slug is up to the top half of the league, which is somewhere they never got close to a year ago. Padres playing some good ball.
Well, they're playing good, and quite frankly, I mean, they beat up the Colorado Rockies, and you know, I'm not going to demean anybody, and I want to give the Padres a lot of praise. I mean, Bogarts hit the grand slam last Thursday, Sheets hit the 3-run homer on Friday, and you know, they came back and won those games and won the other 2 over the weekend, but it isn't like they beat the 27 Yankees. I mean, that pitching staff of Colorado, a lot of those guys in a good organization would be in AAA, to be honest with you, in my opinion. But, you know, winning last night was fantastic. Hancock was doing a heck of a job. The bullpen has obviously been a little bit of an issue for Seattle. They really haven't hit their stride. So, you know, the old saying in baseball, and I think you can kind of see it right now, Padres are playing good baseball. They're doing a lot of good things, but they're also catching teams at the right time. It's not who you play, it's when you play them. And, you know, that's why I always say you get to the playoffs, and this is a playoff team. I don't know if they can win a World Series or not, but you get into the playoffs, you never know. I mean, you may be playing the Dodgers or Atlanta at the right time, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the World Series. You never know, but they're doing some good things. They got to get Manny on track, and Cronenworth's in a real funk right now, and they got to get him going a little bit. And we'll find out more today about Freddie Fermin. He took a pretty good shot last night in that face mask, and hopefully he's going to be okay. But no, they're doing a lot of good things, and of course Pivetta, you got to be concerned about him. I'll be honest with you, I don't really expect him to come back this year.
Wow. Okay. So you think from what they've said, or are you hearing this from inside the organization? What makes you think he's not coming back?
Well, nothing I've heard from the organization. I know he was pretty upset when he came out of the ball game on, I guess it was on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I can't remember what day it was.
Sunday.
Now all these games run in together, but I heard he was pretty upset, and they did the imaging and all that good stuff. And I mean, flexor tendon. I mean, you got to be very careful with that. And I don't know if he gets back on the mound by August, I'd be very happy. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I think the Padres need to go to start looking for another plan. And my plan would be you got to take a good hard look at Lucas Giolito. He's down at the Cressy workout facility in Florida. He's been throwing quite a bit. I know tomorrow he's scheduled to throw. Normally on Fridays he throws a simulated game down there. There have been scouts, I would imagine. The Padres have been watching his workouts. Here's a guy that was 10-4 a year ago, a 3.41, and in his final 19 starts had a 2.51 ERA. And he's a guy still looking for a job right now. And I know this ball club is close to being sold, or at least, well, that's what it sounds like. Maybe they don't want to spend the money. I don't know, but they're going to need to get another bona fide major league pitcher in here, I think.
Yeah, the Nick Pivetta thing just keeps getting more interesting because you hear Craig Stammen talk yesterday, and he said, yeah, Pivetta is going to be weeks, if not months. And with the Padres, I would just always tend to go with whatever the longest possible thing is because they don't love to tell us things. So, Coach, I'm glad you brought up Giolito because Sammy and I were having this conversation earlier of the wish list for the new owners, right? Say there is a new owner next week. He gets approved within the next 2 or 3 months and comes into the San Diego Padres. Like wish list items for the San Diego Padres. I said extend Laureano. I love the way that dude plays. What would be your wish list item for these Padres with a new ownership group coming in?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think you got to. I would probably right now. I like Laureano. I've liked him since he was a kid coming up with the Oakland organization. Okay, but we'll see how it all plays out. I think this ball club needs to get younger. I mean, you got a lot of age with Manny and Bogarts. Cronenworth's not a young guy. I think you got to get younger. It's a young man's game. I don't want to give anybody over 30 a long-term extension. You got to start developing some of your own and keeping some of your own. That's my wish list.
Coach, I'm curious. I don't know if you saw Harold Reynolds last week or early this week after Tatis went to second base for a couple games, insinuated that he thought the Padres were testing him out there for a potential trade down the line. Do you think that holds any water, or is that just a pundit take?
Well, there are a lot of different ways, Sam, to look at that. Down the road, and first of all, Manny, Bogarts, and Tatis all have no trade contracts to this point in time. Later on, I think Fernando's lightens up or he can be traded to, X amount of teams. But from 2029 to 2034, Fernando's going to make $36 million a year. Starting next year, Manny, with his salary and a $5 million signing bonus every December 1st, is going to be making between the salary of $35 million and a signing bonus, he'll be making $40 million a year. So between those two guys here in the next couple of years, they're going to be making $76 million between them. Then you throw in $25 million annually to Xander Bogaerts until 2033. Manny's contract runs out in 33, and Tati runs out in 34. So of those guys, the only guy you can trade is Tatis. Okay, it's that simple. Would they want to trade him? I don't think so. I wouldn't. I mean, he's playing good ball right now, not hitting home runs, still hadn't had a home run. But with that being said, the new owner may look at this payroll and go, man, we got to get some of this money off the books. We're not going to be able to do anything. We're going to be hamstrung. And the only guy you can move is Fernando. Well, if you want to showcase him, I mean, that guy could play any place. I'd put him behind the plate. I mean, that guy can do anything. He's a tremendous athlete. He's one of the best athletes in baseball. There's no question about it. But, answering your question, was he showcased? I don't think so. Harold Reynolds is sitting in the ivory tower, the MLB Baseball Network. He's trying to stir some things up, get all the Padres fans panties in a knot. But no, I don't think so. But I will tell you this. If an owner did kind of look at the team and go, you know what? We don't want to pay Fernando $36 million. We want to buy the team, but we don't want the fans to hate us. we want you guys to trade him before we ever come in and take on ownership so we can go out and get the players that we want. I mean, who knows what deals are being made by a potential new owner? You don't know.
It's a great point. Our YouTube chat, Coach, this from Sir Will says, Harold Reynolds is a jackass, certified Padres hater. So you can tell what it did to the San Diego Padre fan base. Coach, before we get you out of here, I did want your thoughts on this. So I don't know if you saw this news, but Bill Walton, obviously legendary San Diegan, La Mesa native, Helix High. He's getting a new road out in La Mesa. It got unanimously approved. Pretty cool for Bill Walton and his family. That's going to be going in right next to Helix High, actually, which is right next to where I live. But a very cool thing for Bill Walton, don't you think?
Very cool. I think very deserving. I didn't know Bill well. I knew Bill and he knew me, but, we weren't, going out to, ride bikes together. I can tell you that. But I knew his brother, Bruce, who unfortunately passed even before Bill did, a great guy. And he played at Helix and was an All-American football player at UCLA and played, I think, 4 years in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. But, the Walton family, those two guys in particular, and they had a brother, Andy, and I think they had a sister as well that I didn't know. But Andy also played basketball at Helix. Bill Walton and Bruce, those guys never forgot where they came from. And, I was a big Bill Walton fan, growing up a little bit younger than him, a huge UCLA fan in those days. And it was so proud that, him and even Wilbert Olinde, who was on some of those great UCLA teams, he was a Helix High grad as well. But to see what Bill Walton did on the basketball court, but what he did in our community and so many charities that he helped over the years, I was all for that when I heard about it. I was glad it got approved yesterday. And, anytime I think about Bill Walton, I get a smile on my face. A good man.
Yeah, Coach, I only met him twice, once on the air with Steve and then once in person at actually a basketball game I traveled to for the Aztecs that he was calling that took place up in Stanford. And both times, unprovoked, he talked about the potholes in San Diego. So that road better not have any potholes on it if you're naming it after Bill Walton, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Bill Walton, a good guy. And the thing that I appreciate, I guess maybe even more than somebody that's from outside the community. I mean, I'm a homegrown San Diego County boy. Bill Walton was, and he never forgot where he came from. And he was always willing to, come on the radio or go out to some function that was going to benefit others other than just himself.
Very cool. Coach, appreciate your time each and every week. Fun talking some Padres with you. And we'll talk very, very soon, okay?
All righty, Fletch. You and Sammy have a great day and keep the show rolling. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Coach. Always appreciate that. Hey, we got some tickets for you right now. So coming up this weekend, it's huge, man. It's been a while since San Diego has had something like this right here in our hometown. SD Fight Night happening this Saturday, April 18th, Front Wave Arena up in Oceanside. Juju Ballo, Johnny Mansour, two headline names in the world of boxing, both of them fighting out of the East County. Going to be very, very exciting here. So sdfightnight.com to buy tickets. I did look earlier today. There are still some seats available. If you would like to pay to go to the event, they weren't outrageously priced either. I think floor seats were under $100 still. But sdfightnight.com is where you're buying tickets. If you would like to win a pair of tickets, now is the time to call 877-767-4760. Put on those boxing gloves and get out there and support a couple of East County boys going into the ring. It's San Diego Sports 760. We'll give these to caller number 10. SD Fight Night tickets for this weekend up in Oceanside at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for the Lakeside Rodeo. And if you're looking for something fun to do next week, fun and affordable, by the way, for the whole family, you got to get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo. If you've never been before, you got to check this out. My wife and I, we go every single year. We hang out, we have a couple drinks, we watch some awesome rodeo action, bull riding, steer wrestling, tons of activations for the kiddos as well. You got to get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo grounds April 23rd through April 26th. That's Thursday through Sunday next week. The Lakeside Rodeo grounds transform into 4 full, legit days of rodeo action, bull riding, steer wrestling, and the kids' stick horse races are hilarious. You got to get out there and check it out for yourself and even sign up your kiddo to be involved in them. It's all going down next Thursday through Sunday. It's the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo, and it's one of those rare events that's actually affordable for you to take out the whole family. You got a family of 4. They'll keep it around $100 for you to get on out there. And then concessions are cheap. I know because I serve them out at the Lakeside Rodeo. You got to get on out there. Plus, it supports the El Capitan Stadium Association, which is giving back to local youth in Lakeside. My wife is a teacher out in Lakeside. This money really does go to something very, very important. So get on out there, support Lakeside, support the El Capitan Stadium Association, and go take in some awesome times. Rodeo, the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo, happening next week out at the Lakeside Rodeo grounds. Get your tickets now at lakesiderodeo.com. That is lakesiderodeo.com. I'll see you out there.
SDFC back on the road Saturday night. They got Real Salt Lake. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren will begin at 6 o'clock right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, who just won those tickets for the Lakeside? Or no, that was SD Fight Night.
Julian going to the fight. Julian is going to the fight. Might say what's up when he's out there, man. So I'm excited to see our people. We're all going to the fight together. I'm excited.
That's going to be fun, man. This Saturday night. That was our last pair of tickets to give out. So sdfightnight.com if you would like to buy tickets. I did look earlier today. There are still tickets available. Get on out there. Support some East County boxers who legitimately, Juju Ballo has a shot within the next 4 or 5 years to be a world champ. You could see him at the ground level. Very, very cool that they're representing San Diego like this and hosting this event here in San Diego. Plus, the Front Wave Arena is incredible. So I'm excited to go check it out on Saturday night. Be there with my buddy Sammy. We're going to have a lot of fun. If you would like to have fun too, sdfightnight.com.
Come on out.
Buy your tickets now. All right. Fernando Tatis, home run. I'm calling my shot. It's today. Today's the day.
What are the odds on like FanDuel?
I think it'll like 5 extra money.
Well, yeah. When does it actually become concerning? I think it's already concerning.
Yeah, in my mind, it's already concerning. He's had enough at bats. He's playing good. That's why I'm kind of saying I feel like today's the day. And I think we get a big old bat flip out of him.
He has to hit one by the end of the week. Like I said,
by the end of this week. So between now and the end of the Angels series.
Yeah. If he doesn't hit one by the Angels series being done, I think we're having some serious concerns.
What's your concern? That he can't hit home runs without steroids? No, I'm just
because you don't pay Tatis the money he pays to hit sac flies. Like
sure.
That's great last night. That's awesome that he was a part of the comeback. But the Padres are not paying Tatis the amount of money they're paying Fernando Tatis to not be smashing home runs.
Well, I guess my expectation for Fernando Tatis Jr. would be 30 plus home runs every year. Right? Like that should be the expectation for Fernando Tatis Jr. It should be rolling out of bed, hitting 25 home runs, and then you hopefully get hot for a couple of weeks and you hit a few more. That's the expectation. So at what point do we start worrying that he may not get to 20 home runs on this season?
Right. I mean,
like you got to start hitting some.
The thing is it's great.
Xander Bogaerts is hitting home runs.
Well, Xander's playing well. Merrill's playing well. Laureano's playing well. Campusano's playing well. But again, if the Padres are going to go to the next level, it's great that they were able to come back without, well, Tatis was a part of it, but really as a majority of Laureano and Merrill and guys like that last night.
Campusano.
But if the Padres want to reach the next level in terms of really making a push, being a real threat in these playoff series, Tatis has to get back to form.
I'm calling my shot. If this happens, we will clip this video, post it all over the place. Second at bat of the night. You got that? Second at bat of the night.
You're calling your shot.
Second
at bat of the night. Are you calling pitch too?
2 strike count off the Western Metal Supply building.
Wow. If that happens, that's actually gonna be crazy.
If that happens, we're going to Vegas this week.
You called the. Are you gonna call what inning it is?
Well, too? I don't know. Probably the 3rd or the 4th, maybe yeah. So, but second at bat of the night for Fernando. 2 strike count off the Western Metal Supply building.
I like it.
What's those odds in Vegas? That has to be like 1,000-1.
Yeah, if you're
right, if you could call
if you're not only calling a home run, calling the pitch it happens on. If you call the pitch that's thrown to him, that'd be something special.
Hanging curve. It's gonna try to be a strikeout pitch. It's gonna hang up a little too high. Nando, boom. All right, so that's my call shot. I did put $10 on him to hit a home run tonight. Hopefully that happens. That'd be pretty sweet.
So it's worth a little sprinkle.
Do you want to run through long shots as quick as humanly possible?
Oh, yeah. We got the over on Orioles and Guardians. No, sorry. We have the under on Orioles and Guardians, over on Padres and Mariners, and Arthur Fields to beat Lorenzo Musetti at the Barcelona Open.
Barcelona.
Out in Spain. Barcelona's in Spain, Fletch.
I know this. I actually believe it or not. Geography is not my strong suit, but I do know where Barcelona is. All right, that's it for us today. If you missed anything on the show today, it was a productive one, man. We talked about the Padres ownership situation.
Coach had some spicy stuff.
Coach had some really good stuff, man. If you heard what he said about Pivetta, that shouldn't make you feel very good. But Coach said he doesn't know if he expects to see Pivetta back on the field this
Coach is tapped in too.
Season. Craig Stammen saying yesterday it's a matter of weeks, if not months, before we see Craig Stammen. But next week, you may find out who the next owner of the Padres is. All of that was talked about today on the show. Find us on the free iHeartRadio app. Just search The Zone. on the free iHeartRadio app. You should be able to find us there. Add us to your presets. We will see you tomorrow. Sammy, we'll see you coming up next. Bye.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. The Padres and Mariners getting set for game 3 of their series tonight down at Petco Park. The Padres are going for the sweep. It's going to be Luis Castillo going for the Mariners and Walker Buehler on the hill for the Padres. First pitch is set for 6:40. And we've got the final 4 of the NBA play-in set now. It's going to be the Hornets at the Magic tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and the Warriors take on the Suns. That game is going to be at 7:30. Both those games will be for the 8th seed in their respective conferences. If you have questions about youth or high school sports, Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA builds better athletes and better people through sports. Info at positivecoach.org.
Going long with Sammy.
That's going to be hot.
In depth on the story of the day. Plus, it's warm in the hot seat. Now, it's Sammy Long.
What's up, San Diego? Orange County, Los Angeles, overseas, wherever you listen from. Welcome back to Going Long with me, Sammy Long, on San Diego Sports 760. Live 2 to 3 every day, Monday through Friday. And then, of course, we got Schaefer in Sliwa, our new afternoon drive show, showing up from 3 to 6. Make sure to tune into them. Doing a great job. Loving hearing them on my way home. So we have a lot to get to today. So we got the crossover coming up at 2:45. Still waiting to hear back on a couple people at 2:30 for a guest. Not sure if they're going to show up or not, but we got a lot to get to. So we're going to start with the Padres in a second. The NBA has some interesting stuff. The play-in was fantastic last night. Steph takes care of Kawhi. That was a hell of a basketball game. Kawhi did not show up at the end of that game, and kind of what it means for both franchises going forward. LaMelo Ball also fined, not suspended, for tomorrow night's game against Orlando. We're getting to that. Cade Cunningham and Luka as well qualify for the 65 game threshold, even though they didn't play 65 games. We also got some NFL draft stuff coming up here in about 20 minutes about a lot of trades possibly in the first round. But we got to start with the Pods. The Pods, that was unbelievable last night. I mean, that was a scheduled loss with the Padres going with, Tatis didn't start, came in the game, got the sac fly later in it. But that game was electric to watch just from a fan perspective, because it felt like the Padres, it would have been an acceptable loss. Like, I don't think anyone in San Diego, as fans, radio hosts, whoever, would have come on and crushed the Padres had they lost that game. The Mariners, very good baseball team, 4-game win streak against the Astros. They lose the game 1 against the Padres the other night. And for them to keep fighting, and Luis Campusano coming up clutch, Ramon Laureano, Jackson Merrill, it was cool seeing the kind of unsung heroes do it, and the unsung heroes really get into it. And we kind of talked about yesterday, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, it keeps putting pressure on them because the whole team is really functioning. You got to even guys like Alec Jacob, like coming in that game in what felt like kind of a throwaway game for the Padres in stabilizing the rotation. And then they're able to get to Munoz at the end of the game. And the rest is history with the Merrill walk-off. But I believe we have some Pivetta sound here in a second. Coming off the Nick Pivetta news, where yesterday he's, Craig Salmon says out weeks, maybe months, does not look good. Here's what Nick Pivetta had to say per Marty Caswell and Marty Time TV on his injury.
Yeah, feeling better day by day. It's going to take some time. It's going to be a little bit of a process, but have a good medical staff here, trying to do the right things and just try to get ahead of it.
It sounded like as of yesterday, there wasn't necessarily like a plan in place for that process. Do you kind of know what that looks like at this point?
I think we're just going to take time to rest and kind of just allow some healing to happen. And
so we just had Coach Kentera on, if you were listening, Fletch and I, at 1:30. Coach, who was one of my most trusted sources for all Padre information, said he's like, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't pitch again this year. Now, pretty jarring news if that were to happen. Again, Coach said he doesn't have any inside information, but given what happened, how it looked, like that's a serious injury. And Craig Stammen trying to play it off like it was just the flu or sickness. Like that is not what we all saw on Sunday. But I got to give the Padres a lot of credit, because despite the Nick Pivetta injury, despite the Joe Musgrove, the kind of still awaiting the return of him, despite the fact that Machado and Tatis are struggling, they're winning games. You can look at that one of two ways. You can look at one way, if we're looking positive, and go, the fact that they're able to win these ball games when it's not just Tatis mashing home runs or Machado or heroic performances by the bullpen, who that's been a concern when you look at this Padre team. Is it's great that the Padres can shut teams down with their bullpen. Like that's fantastic that's an option for the Pods, but it's also not a sustainable option night in, night out, especially when you're trying to get through a marathon of a season with 162 games. It's not sustainable that you can rely on your bullpen night in, night out. And I think Mike Schilt really relied on that way too much last year. We got to Mike Schilt. I mean, I get it. It was a fun time when the Padres made all those moves at the deadline, got Mason Miller, already had a stacked bullpen with Jason Adam and Jeremiah Estrada and Morejon and Robert Suarez last year. And then Adam gets hurt and Estrada kind of gets touched up by the Dodgers and wasn't ever really quite the same. But he fell in love with using the bullpen too much. And I think that was a big concern for me with Craig Stammen heading into this year as a rookie manager. How is it going to go when you have to find ways to win games, but it's not just your bullpen? Because it's easy to, especially the rookie manager who's trying to prove their worth. If Bruce Bochy's here, if Dave Roberts is here, even though Dave Roberts is, people question a lot, I think he's earned the respect as a back-to-back World Series champion, as a very good manager. People aren't questioning their everyday moves. Craig Stammen and Vitello from the Giants, we're all of us as fans and watching the team are looking at every single move Craig Stammen makes and putting it under a microscope. But the fact that he hasn't really just relied on that to the extent that Mike Schilt did has been impressive. Because even when they got a win a couple weeks ago, I believe it was against the Tigers on that Saturday, it was a bullpen type day. Padres, I believe, won like 3-1, something like that. Got a few run lead and then shut it down. And that's, again, it's great that they can do that. But it was cool seeing last night that there was a different way that they won. It wasn't because they used all the high leverage arms in the bullpen. It wasn't because Randy Vasquez or Michael King had some unbelievable outing. Randy Vasquez, his first, we could say, rough outing of the year that didn't look like the Randy Vasquez that we had seen. But it was cool seeing them have a different way to win. And it was because the bats came alive. Because that's been such a concern. It's like, why are the bats for the first week of the season? We're kind of wondering where they were at. And kind of back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, the fact that Tatis and Machado are not having great starts to the season. We can look at this one of two ways. We can look at it in the positive way that they're finding ways to win games without them playing well. And yet here they are on a 7-game win streak looking to sweep the Seattle Mariners, who were one inning away from playing the Dodgers in the World Series. Or we can look at this a different way where we're concerned that how long can the Padres live on this? How long can the Padres live on the edge without Machado and Tatis playing like stars? And look, I get he had the sac fly last night. I credit Fernando for that. Shout out to him for that. But Fletch and I were just getting into it. The Padres don't pay Fernando Tatis what they pay him to not hit home runs. Like, to just be blunt, he is supposed to be the guy at the next level. And again, I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think I'd lean more on the positive side right now. That Luis Campusano is looking like a legitimate piece for the Padres. And Jackson Merrill is right back to where he was his rookie season when we were so excited about the potential of a new superstar in San Diego. And Ramon Laureano has been just unbelievable and was certainly a missing piece down the stretch of last season. But I do think we get to, at what point is it concerning that Machado and Tatis aren't pulling their weight? Because it's great that they're winning games, but to go far in the playoffs, to really stay within earshot of the Dodgers in the division, which I give them a lot of credit for doing, 3 weeks into the season, these guys have to play better. And Ben was joking about his Tatis going to hit his first home run tonight, putting odds on it. I it's 5-1, 5-1. Brent, 5-1. We got 5-1 odds. Brent, do you like that? You're not saying that tonight? See, I was with you, Brent. I was like, I'm not sure. Like, until he proves it, I'm not putting money on that. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Tatis in the first inning crushes one tonight and kind of shuts everyone up. But it's so Texas, what do you think? Text 70470, start your message with team, or give us a call, 877-767-4760, 877-767-4760. Where are you at with this, with Tatis and Machado? Are you looking at this as a positive thing that you're expecting that they're going to get back to their elite level play, and the fact that the supporting cast has been very good through the first 3 weeks of the season? Or are you concerned? Are you concerned that they're not going to be able to keep living on this from all the supporting pieces because the stars aren't playing like stars? And back to the Nick Pivetta piece about Nick Pivetta missing time. It sucks. That's a real bummer for the Padres. He's supposed to be the ace. And when you're relying on guys like Walker Buehler, who we're going to see tonight, when you're relying on guys like Germán Marquez, Matt Waldron coming back from injury, who we'll see later this weekend, you don't know what you're getting. Like tonight, when we're looking at the game, hopefully Walker Buehler's great. He had a decent first start against the Giants, only gave up 3 runs, but the offense wasn't there. Wasn't great in his second start, but was also good last Friday. So you don't know what you're getting with any of those guys. You can't say you can't sit there and go, Walker Buehler's gonna have a great start, Germán Marquez gonna have a great start, Matt Waldron, because you don't know. Whereas when Michael King's out there, I think people have a lot of confidence that Michael King can get it done. Randy Vasquez, up until last night, I think people have a lot of faith can get it done. I'm just counting that as one off performance against a good Mariner lineup. Nick Pivetta is one of those guys that you feel comfortable throwing out there every 5 days. So when we're getting to the next 3 games where we're going to see Buehler and Waldron and Marquez, this is where the bats have to come to life. And the bats, it's a great sign that last night the bats did come to life, because that was one of the first times this season, outside of maybe that Sunday in Boston where they got down 4-0 to Ranger Suarez and Machado and Merrill hit the home runs to come back. That was one of the first games where they looked lifeless. They looked like they were heading for a loss, and the bats pulled them out of it late. So this weekend, we got to see where the bats are at. Can they continue this momentum? And we're really, again, looking at Tatis and Machado, because we've criticized Campusano heading into the year. We've criticized the fringe pieces. It's time for Tatis and Machado to start playing like the players we know that they can be. And it starts tonight. Maybe he'll hit that home run and Ben will cash a bet and be chirping about it tomorrow at 12 o'clock. All right, shoot us your text 70470. Start your message with team. Where are you at with the Padres right now? Are you concerned about Machado and Tatis or not? Coming up next, we're getting into the NBA. Excellent game last night in the play-in. Steph takes down Kawhi. Kawhi doesn't really show up in the fourth quarter. What does that say about his legacy going forward in the play-in as a whole? Coming up next on Going Long, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back. Going along. The NBA play-in was fun last night. The NBA play-in over the last 2 days, we've had some great matchups. And I think the one that everyone was looking forward to was that Steph Kawhi matchup, because there was so much on the line, 2 absolute star players. And although the Western Conference, I don't think anyone thinks that now, because the Warriors won, if the Warriors or Suns end up going to play Oklahoma City, any of those teams stand a chance. Last night was fun because it was just fun to watch a one-off scenario with Curry and Kawhi going back and forth. Now, if you didn't watch the game, you watched the Padres game. Kawhi, 2 points in the fourth quarter. They came in basically garbage time at the very end after they had lost. They were down like 6 or 8 points, something like that. And were really struggling. Kawhi disappeared. And it was kind of the Bennett Mathurin show, the Darius Garland show. And the Warriors came back down 13 in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry was unbelievable. And Draymond Green stole the ball from Kawhi Leonard twice at the very end of the game while the game was still in doubt. Here's what Kawhi had to say post-game on, do we have that? Oh, here's what Kawhi had to say post-game on his play.
They had a great game plan, just being physical all game, making sure I don't get no catch and shoot shots, blitzing every, pick and roll, getting in the post, seeing 2 bodies. And then, Draymond, Hall of Fame defender. It was hard to even get shots up.
To hear one of the greats say that about me, like, man, that's special. That's why you do it, because you want respect from your peers.
I don't want to hear that from Kawhi Leonard. Like, I don't want to hear, if you're this face of the franchise, you're Kawhi. Like, it's great that you're giving respect to Draymond Green, but I don't want to hear about how, he locked me up at age 37. Like, you're supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to be what Curry was down the stretch for the Warriors. Take over the game, and yet it felt like Kawhi was passive until the final couple minutes. I mean, they're up 13 at home to a Warrior team that, although Curry's there, him and Porzingis, because they've both been injured at the same time, have virtually no chemistry. Al Horford is playing well down the stretch. Minutes restrictions on Porzingis, Curry, and Horford that they went over on, but they were not supposed to, in a lack of options because Jimmy Butler's not there. Moses Moody got hurt. Brandon Podziemski is basically the second best player, I guess third best player behind Porzingis on the team. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, when we look back at Kawhi Leonard's legacy, he'll always be a champion. He'll always be remembered for the Spurs for being the guy who locked down LeBron James in that finals. And then with Toronto, now that Warriors team that he beat was extremely hurt. I mean, completely hurt whatsoever, and was dealing with a lot of injuries, and they certainly benefited from those injuries. And I'm not trying to say like Kawhi, I think will look back as a player and be disappointed in what could have been, because Kawhi, yes, he was the one on that Raptor team, but the Warriors were not at full strength. And then with the Warrior, or with the San Antonio Spurs, he was not having to be the lead scoring option because it was Manu and Parker and Duncan, and he got to be the fourth wheel that was just out there locking in, playing defense. I mean, it was like Kawhi Leonard as a legacy. Like last night was his opportunity to prove he was going to take down Curry in a play-in. And again, although they probably go get shellacked by the Oklahoma City Thunder if they were even to win to beat the Phoenix Suns tomorrow night, but like that was a bad performance from Kawhi Leonard. And frankly, I don't want to hear about how it's I don't know. Draymond Green was guarding me. Draymond Green pickpocketed him at the end of that game. Draymond Green, a forward, pickpocketed him. And I just think that was a massive mistake by Kawhi Leonard. And I think if I'm the Clippers, I'm looking to move on. You've already moved off James Harden. You've moved off all the veteran guys. You have a youth movement of Benedict Mathurin as well as Darius Garland. How many times can you keep running the same thing back with Kawhi Leonard and expecting it to be different, that they're going to break in?
I think they're going to move on anyways, just because of all the side stuff that's going on with Kawhi, with the mystery, I'll call it investor job or whatever, he had where he was supposed to make those appearances that he never made and everything else. That might amount to nothing, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers just, cut ties with him and just try to move on from that. But, they kept harping about it, the whole broadcast, about how, what Steve Kerr said about how, the Warriors had all their experience and everything else, and that was going to play out. And it did for that last 90 seconds of the game. It just seemed like every time the Clippers would get the ball, Draymond would steal it. He stole the inbound pass, and then it's like their very next possession, they just get the ball across half court, and then he picks that guy's pocket, and it's just like all of a sudden within probably a 25-second stretch, the game was over.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. I'm not a Clipper fan, but the Clippers, it's funny when you compare the Clippers, Lakers, and the Warriors. They feel like the Warriors are still hanging on to the dynasty. They're still hanging on to that core, Draymond and Curry, and you go get an aging veteran, Jimmy Butler, to go help you. The Lakers were headed for this. The Lakers were headed for years of mediocrity with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, because if LeBron James had left, Anthony Davis wasn't attracting any stars. They just got a lottery ticket dropped in their lap with Luka Doncic and was able to kind of retool the franchise and are really going to be able to redo it in the offseason. And credit to the Clippers. You move off an aging James Harden. They started the season 6-21, and there was reports they were trying to move Kawhi actually to the Warriors at the deadline. That didn't come to fruition. But with Garland, Mathurin, I think it's time for all these teams on the West Coast. The Lakers are ahead of the curve, and they are fully about to be doing a new look team in the offseason. The Clippers feel like they're next, moving off Kawhi, and we'll see if the Warriors get bounced here, where the Warriors go with it. Let's head to the phone lines again. Shoot us a call, 877-767-4760, 877-767-4760. King, you're on the air, man.
Hey, I got two quick takes. One on the NBA. The Clippers are a disaster. It's so disappointing. They have the richest owner in North American sports, and they can't get it right. It's a personnel issue. It always has been with them. But anyways, going back to our local Friars, I think we got to start talking about the potential decline of Machado. He's done a great job. I mean, we haven't seen it, but this might be the year. And Tatis, his best days might be behind him at the plate. Sadly, it's so tough for me to say that, being given his age. But I'm skeptical. I'm overreaction king. That's my nickname. I'm worried about this season. I hope they turn it around, but I don't trust the lineup. I don't trust our starting pitching. The record is awesome, right? And Stammen's doing an okay job, but this is a long season, and a lot of this worries me. I appreciate you all.
Oh, King, man, I appreciate the call, man. It's valid. I mean, it's a valid point. It's concerning that we're 3 weeks into the season and we're still having the same conversations. Like, it's one thing to overreact to a series or a week, but if Jackson Merrill and Ramon Laureano and hell, I'll say it, Luis Campusano are not on this Padres team, what's their record right now? I mean, and luckily they are, and they're going to be a part of it going forward. But to King's point, I mean, Machado, is getting up there in age, and it feels like, the no one wants to talk about it, but he has a 209 career postseason batting average. I mean, Fernando at least overall has come through in some big series and had some big moments. So when Fernando struggles, at least we can point to some playoff moments. Manny really hasn't had those. And don't give me the home run against the Cubs. Like, that's not. They went 2 for 22 in that series. That's not him and Tatis combined. That's not acceptable from your top two stars. So to King's point, I think it's fair. I think the Machado criticism, he's only getting older. Fernando makes a little less sense because he should be in his prime. He should be ascending. And it feels like the last 4 years, we're still having the same, when are we going to see 2021 Nando? When are we going to see him come out? We see it come out in stretches. We saw it come out 14-3 last year when they started hot and he was playing like an NL MVP, then kind of fell off the map. But I think it's a fair point, King. Thank you for calling in. 877-767-4760. If you're going to react to that caller or give us some thoughts on anything we talked about, mainly, are you concerned about Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado and their lack of production through the first 3 weeks of the season, or do you think it gets figured out? 877-767-4760. All right, coming up next, talking a little Padres as well as the NFL draft. 1 week away. We got some spicy trades rumors flying around. We're going to get to those in a minute. Coming up next on Going Long, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres and Mariners are getting set for Game 3 of their series tonight down at Petco Park. The Padres are going for the 3-game sweep. It's going to be Luis Castillo going for the Mariners and Walker Buehler going for the Padres. First pitch is set for 6:40. We have the final four of the NBA play-in that will take place tomorrow night. The Hornets and the Magic will start us off at 4 o'clock, and then we got Warriors at Suns at 7:30. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Welcome back. Going long. We got the crossover with Schaefer and Slee. Come up here in about 15 minutes. So excited to talk to them. And then they will be taking it from 3 to 6. Getting to some text. Talking about the Padres and the kind of lack of slug from Fernando, as well as Manny Machado. 913 says always worried about Tatis and Machado as long as we get in playoffs and they show up when it truly matters. That's when they earn their keep, being clutch when it matters. I agree, 913. I think the problem is that's where the concern comes, especially with Manny Machado. He hasn't really had too many big playoff moments for the Pods. His whole career, Baltimore, the Dodgers, the Padres. I mean, he hasn't really had. I know he had the 1 home run in game 1 against the Dodgers, but kind of fell flat the rest of the series. Some people always try to say he flew out to the track twice in game 5. That doesn't count. The flying out to the track is, again, not what you get paid all the money for. Looking at here, 858 Nano probably give notice next time is the last time. I was talking about roids and jerks and Profar. Trade him mid-low 20 homers at best. Another 760 numbers. It's time to admit we overpaid for roided up Tatis. Listen, I mean, that's the conversation no one wants to have. Was it a product of the steroids? I don't know where I fall on that. It's hard to. Tatis has immense talent, and we see that. We've seen that over the years since he's gotten busted. But I think what's frustrating is it's felt like we kind of assumed at the time when he got busted for roids, it was going to be a linear gradual ramp up, which is why the Padres were going to, pay him, and he was going to be the next face of the franchise. But it hasn't been that. It's been due to injuries, due to just not great play, due to the steroid, the suspension. I mean, it's kind of been one thing after another. And I feel like last year we got so distracted with the lack of slug coming from 7 through 9 that we kind of forgot about it a little bit. And now it's blatantly obvious because everyone else is producing. Merrill, Laureano, Campusano. The starting pitching has not been as bad as we all thought it was going to be. And yet here we are still talking about Fernando not producing. So it's certainly I'm not going to go that far that we overpaid for a roided up Tatis, but 760, I understand your concern. I get your concern. There is concern of where is this guy? Where's the guy that the Padres thought when they were paying him all that money? That's a real problem. 858, talking about our NBA conversation. Kawhi had almost the best season of his career. Knew the Clippers had no chance. Why risk injury? He has better things to do next year. Very Kawhi. Yeah. I mean, Kawhi, that's the problem, though. I feel like we say that too much. Kawhi has unbelievable seasons. Kawhi has unbelievable regular seasons, but then we get to the playoffs and it feels like every year. Last year, they talked about with Denver. Oh, this was the sleeper Clipper team when it was him and Harden and they were playing really good ball down the stretch. This whole older wave of stars, Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and then Kawhi Leonard, it feels like they're obviously still playing at a high level, but like, where does Kawhi Leonard fit into that? I think Kawhi Leonard would be fantastic going to be a second or third wheel on a contending team. That's why had the Warriors traded for him, but there was reports they were looking for him. That would have been something. Kawhi going to play with Steph up there in the Bay. Now that would have been where he didn't have to be the number one option. But it felt like last night the Warriors heard all the talk of, oh yeah, the dynasty's dead. Oh yeah, we're too old. The Clippers with these kids and Mathurin and Garland and Derek Jones Jr. are going to beat us. It's kind of a little bit felt like watching that game, like hold my beer. That's what it felt like. It felt like Steph and them took over and we're like, all right, playtime's up. We're down 13 and we're going to show you what good teams know how to do in close games. And I think as a microcosm, I'm excited to watch the Spurs play here on Sunday because I don't think the Spurs are going to have problems in the first round. But historically, we've seen teams that have a lot of talent, but are young in the playoff type picture. The Cavs last year, the Pistons last year to an extent. Who is closing out the games? Like who is the go-to guy when things get rough down the stretch? In that game last night between the Clippers and the Warriors knew who to go to. It was Curry, then Al Horford, the veteran who's won a championship, making big shots down the stretch. They looked calm when the going got rough. And I think you saw a young, talented Clipper team with Mathurin, Jones Jr., Garland. I mean, you can go Saunders, a lot of guys on that lineup, but they froze up a little bit. And Kawhi didn't come up clutch. So when I look at the San Antonio Spurs, when I look at the Detroit Pistons, when I look at some of the young teams in the field, Charlotte Hornets to a lesser extent, because I don't think people think Charlotte is going to go on some run. Who's closing out the show at the end of these games? Because when it's one thing during the regular season, when you're just more talented than everybody, as the Spurs as a very talented basketball team. But when you get down the stretch and you're playing a 7-game series and you're going to, coaches, other teams are making adjustments on you, who's the go-to guy? Because Denver has their go-to guys. Jokic and Murray know exactly what they're doing. The Oklahoma City certainly knows where they're going at the end of these games. Hell, at Boston, this is why Boston's so dangerous. They know it's the Tatum and Brown show at the end of the game. And there are some teams that have been here before who know where to go to down the stretch. And then we have this blend of young teams with a lot of talent, but do they know where to go to down at the end of the games when this gets tight? So that's going to be fun to watch this weekend. Another NBA story came out today that I want to get to. So Cade Cunningham played 63 games so far this season. Luka Doncic played 64 games this season. Now, the NBA made a threshold at 65, for those who don't know, to qualify for regular season awards, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, if it were to be that, you have to play 65 games. And now this was made to combat tanking and load management, because that has certainly been a thing in the NBA, been something that has certainly plagued the league here for a few years, for years recently. And they made an exception for Luka and Cade that they will qualify despite not hitting 65 games. Luka, again, played 64, had the hamstring injury against the Thunder. Cade Cunningham played 63, had the collapsed lung for Detroit. And both these guys were right in the MVP conversation. Now, SGA was the favorite. Wemby was above them. But when Luka got hurt, he was certainly making a late push because he dominated the month of March. But Anthony Edwards, who played 60 games, was denied. He went to arbitration today, and the NBA said no. Now, Fletch and I were going back and forth earlier, but I don't have a problem with it in the sense of I think it's cool that Luka and Cade are going to get recognized, because this was not a load management situation where they just decided, hey, I'm going to sit out these couple games. I mean, Cade had a collapsed lung. You can't play on a collapsed lung. Luka's getting treatment in Spain because of his hamstring injury, and that was serious. We all watched that Thunder game where he just came up limping. I think, though, if you're the NBA, it sets an interesting precedent. So if you're going to let Luka do it at 64 games, if you're going to let Cade do it at 63, but you don't let Anthony Edwards do it at 60, I mean, what happens next year when someone plays 62 games and blows their ACL out? Like, why make the rule in the first place if you're not going to hold to the rule? I didn't have that much of a problem with it to begin with. Like, I was like, why do we even need this rule? I mean, I think if you're load managing, you don't need a rule to say you have to qualify this number of games. If you're load managing a significant portion, voters should take that into account when they're looking at MVP. Like, you can't play 40 games and win MVP. I don't care if it's the best 40 games anyone's ever played in an NBA uniform. That's just not enough data to be MVP over people. But it's an interesting precedent the NBA is setting with letting Luka do it, letting Cade do it, not letting Anthony Edwards do it. Now it just feels like it's kind of open season with awards. And normally I think a lot of people go, well, who cares about awards? Well, in the NBA, it means more than most sports, because if you're a first team all pro, if you're second team or first team all NBA, second team all NBA, third team all NBA, Alan Sleewa getting ready to go out there. If you're based on where you're at or voted by all NBA teams, is how much money you can make. You can sign certain contract extensions because you are first team all NBA, second team all NBA. That's why you've seen guys in the NBA get frustrated when they feel like they get jived on something like that, when they get screwed out of being a first team all NBA or a second team all NBA, because not only do they not get the award, the adulation, they don't get their money. They don't get what they feel is rightly deserved. So I get the NBA doing it. Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic are two stars for the future that are potential faces of the NBA, but it does feel like it sets an interesting precedent about holding to rules in the NBA if you're not going to hold to the rules.
I don't think they should even be allowed to appeal it if they're past a certain point. Like, I think Luka and Cunningham were within, a 2 to 3 game window of the 65.
And those injuries were bad. They weren't like just, oh, hey, I'm not playing tonight because my ear hurts.
I don't have a problem with them putting it up for review and then just let the league look at it. And if the league looks at it and decides, yeah, we get your point, but we looked back and, there was a game on January 18th against, Portland. There was nothing wrong with you and you didn't play. And so we're counting that towards the thing. So you're denied. But yeah, like Ant-Man at 60, that's too far down the line. Because that's the thing with the NBA players. If you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Right.
Because if you, like you said, if you let them appeal it at 60, someone next year, Joel Embiid or somebody will be
58.
like, oh, well, yeah, I want it at 55. And they'll just keep going.
It feels like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. Like it is a big deal because especially in basketball, we judge players by rings, number one, and then personal MVPs, personal awards, probably more than any other sport. The NFL, we look at quarterbacks and we look at, MVPs. How many MVPs did you win? How many Super Bowl rings have you won? What's your playoff record? But the NBA, I mean, that's why it is a very debatable sport in terms of where would you rank guys? Where would you rank players who maybe a guy has more rings, but this guy has more MVPs because of how long the season is with 82 games. It's an interesting conversation. I'm curious where it goes from here. We won't see it the rest of the year, but it's interesting they didn't let Ant do it. But then again, what happens when it's 62 games and 61 games and then they approve that? And then all of a sudden, Anthony Edwards' appeal doesn't seem all that bad at 60. It feels like they're going to end up changing the rule here soon. All right. Schaefer, Sliwa coming up next for a little crossover. Excited to get to talk to them, and they will take it from 3 to 6 the rest of the way. Coming up next, closing this thing out, going long, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back. Going long, wrapping this thing up. John Schaefer, we knew we'd be on time. Present, attending. Alan Sleewood today. On time.
Don't
early.
let's relax there. Okay.
You were in here with 5 minutes to go. I was impressed.
Yeah, I'm a man of my word, even though I never gave my word about anything. Actually, I think I said 46 to 48. That was my.
You said if you set a time, I'll be here.
But here's the one thing that I just want to give you a heads up on, Sammy.
Bathroom break.
Like, no, if I come in, like, let's say I come in at 2:44, I take those 2 minutes now. Like, those 2 minutes are now mine. I could use them whenever I want because I didn't come in. I was 2 minutes before 2:46.
So you're like putting them in the bank.
Sometimes I might come in at 2:40 and then I'm out for 2 days.
Oh, I like that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can come and interrupt my guest from the previous segment.
As long as I just hit.
As long as you're in the presence of the studio.
I put in my hours. I just put it in 2:44. I put 2:44 in there.
Oh, they'll love that. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Wait for that email in a couple hours.
They will love that.
Just trying to be honest.
How about that game last night, boys?
Woo. How about it? We'll talk about it obviously pretty extensively over the next few hours.
They're fun right now.
Yeah,
that's it. Like the one thing I will just take away is that like they're fun to watch. And I think there's a piece of anytime you're watching your team play, whatever team that you're rooting for, you love the Chiefs, it doesn't matter. You want a good product? Kind of a good product right now. They're a fun watch at the moment.
They're weak. Like, I'm sure you guys saw this tweet. There was like this, I quote tweeted at some point last night. Like, they're doing things that aren't typically done. Like, literally with the walk-offs they had, this walk-off grand slam, walk-off 3-run homer, walk-off 2-run double. First major league team with 3 multi-run walk-off extra base hits, okay, in a 7-day span since the 1975 world champion Cincinnati Reds.
We're the best team since the 75 world champions.
But
I don't know what else you could say.
Coming tonight.
It could be a walk-off single, but it's not just this. It's how they even got to this point last night. Like when you're trailing 6-0 in a game, you assume the game is over to some extent.
And in a game where Tatis isn't starting, it felt like a scheduled loss.
Down 4 runs in the 9th. Right. I mean, it's just hard to win those games. I mean, they put the stats on television. You don't win those games often. Yet they did. And that just gives them the additional belief that they can do it again.
But Fletch, I know you guys are going to get into this, so I don't want to ruin your guys' thing. But
we already took it. I mean, that whole thing is gone.
Fine.
Our 3 o'clock is gone.
We can re-air this segment.
So re-air this segment.
3 o'clock will be re-airing our crossover.
Yeah.
That's right.
So tune out. No, I'm just kidding. Do you see, it's interesting, the Dennis Lynn report that they could be sold as early as next week. Mm-hmm. It's interesting this comes the day after. And Fletch kind of put out there, he's like, I mean, if you're talking about, would you be rushing to sell this team if you're John Seidler right now, considering the 7-game win streak, considering the fact that there is so much electricity going on in the ballpark, like you're selling this thing high, or does that even matter? Does this last week even matter to who's buying the team?
I think these deals are so complex that they don't play out over like a 48-hour window. I would imagine it takes weeks. I can only imagine the amount of legal back and forth, the entanglements that are part of this. The Padres are owned by multiple entities. The purchasing party is multiple potential owners and minority owners. I'm sure it's a long process.
Yeah, there's no world where there's just like
there's another
Jackson
10 grand.
They're actually calling. They're calling because of that walk-off yesterday. I mean, the numbers have already been worked out.
Yeah.
So much of this has to do with what's baseball look like over the next few years.
Right.
Will you eventually have shared revenue with some of the national TV revenue that's coming in? Like there's so many things that come into play. But what I will tell you, and I think part of the reason why they will get sold for 3 and change.
Yep.
Even last night in the 9th inning, when they're down 6-2, there's a fair amount of people that are still there.
It was impressive.
It's a sold out game to begin with, but I think there's just a vibe that comes with the Padres. Again, the ultimate goal is you got to win a World Series. San Diego's never done it. That's obviously just the thing that's most important on everybody's mind. Mm-hmm. But the product is good. The vibe is good. Going to a game is good. The perception is good. So the owner that buys the Padres is buying 124 things before Jackson Merrill's
They're
shot
buying the
down
puffer vest. They're in it for the puffer vest.
That
Mark
was
Cuban
crazy
probably
last
called
night.
last night. Like, I didn't know you're doing puffer vest. First 40,000 fans. I'll get involved in this.
Like it is
Right?
interesting though when you're looking at buying a team like the Padres doesn't usually come up because usually when teams are for sale, outside of the Lakers and then the Seahawks now who are looking to sell, who just won a championship, and then the Lakers brand is the Lakers brand. But usually if you're buying a team like the Miami Marlins, the A's, like you're talking about a whole rebuild of the roster immediately, and then trying to draw a fan base. Maybe you're looking at a new ballpark. Like these are usually the things that come into when you're buying a team. The Padres
you strip the team so it's as little of expenses as you can possibly have, and the Padres are completely opposite of that.
They're the opposite. The Padres are perennially in the playoff conversation. They got obviously a rabid fan base, beautiful ballpark,
contracts for the next 18 years.
So yes, that is a negative.
Yeah.
But you have like Merrill. I mean, we can get into Tatis. He hasn't been very good, but like you have two projected stars going forward to build around in Merrill and Tatis.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting. Like, I wonder if this thing sells. I know they're talking about like 3.5 billion. We also didn't know that the Lakers would go for 10. Like, and now they're nowhere close to the Lakers. But like, you feel like this thing could sell for a little bit more than people are reporting.
It's going to be a massive number. The biggest sale in baseball history, the New York Mets to Steve Cohen was
two
2.4 billion.
and change. Yeah,
it's like anything though in life. A good
100%.
investment's a good investment. You buy a home by the water, it probably goes up. You buy a professional sports team, you buy the Lakers. Yeah, you spent a lot, but it's probably a worthwhile investment.
I don't know of any franchise that's been purchased.
Yeah, it's gone down
in any of the. You call it the top 3 sports, right? Tell me one that
gone down.
I mean, maybe there's been the
like,
books were so bad, the finances didn't do well, players this.
That's a good point.
But the equity of the team, like you just said, that's the New York Mets that sold for how much?
2.4.
Here's the San Diego Padres coming in. They'll sell for
45.
almost a third as much as the Mets were purchased.
And what
for.
did the Seidler group? And I don't have the exact numbers.
800? Wasn't it 800? Oh, no. I don't know if that, I know things, but I think it was under a bill.
It was.
That's called appreciation.
It was 900, and now it's 3.5, let's say. And the next time they sell, it'll be 6 or it's just the nature of it.
All right. What's that coming up on the show today?
A lot, including Jesse Rogers from ESPN, who will join us. Baseball reporter, works with Jeff Passan at 5 p.m.
There's one right there.
And we're giving away San Diego Seals tickets. They've got their fan appreciation night
coming up tomorrow.
Their fan appreciation night's tomorrow. We've got a player joining us in about 10 minutes, and then we'll give away those tickets for one of our listeners.
All right. Stay tuned.
Good job, Sammy.
Good work, Sammy.
Coming up next at 3.
Sammy Long.
And make sure to stay tuned in 3 to 6. I'll be back tomorrow with Fletch at 12, and I'll talk to you then.